on. See if this is working at all. Let's go to YouTube. Okay, it looks like this may have worked. Let's have a look see. These streams always start out funny. Okay, yeah, we're good. We're good. I'm live. We don't do these almost ever, so oh wait, sorry, we don't do these almost ever. So every time I do this, I have to like get the login and make sure everything's good. I am not the tech guy, unfortunately. It's just me today. Man, I'm bright as shit. See, I'm falling apart by myself here. Yeah, much better. We got to get some mood lighting up in this thing. So actually, I was supposed to do this yesterday, and I thought Santino was in Saudi Arabia. I thought he was on his way to Saudi Arabia, so I didn't want to bother him. And it was only like 6, 7 o'clock at night, and I pulled up the time, like what it would be in Saudi Arabia, and I was like, man, it's 4 in the morning. I best not bother him. Little did I know the guy's sleeping comfortable in his own bed, and I forgot about this. Yeah, he was sleeping comfortable in his own bed. He could have easily given me the username, the password, could have got this thing done yesterday. But instead, here we are tonight, and we are going to discuss some fights. So I'm going to try to read the chat. My internet is super, super slow on Google Chrome for some reason. So I'm going to hold my phone and read the chat at the same time. I don't know if this is like a lively chat. Then we might not talk a whole lot of MMA. And so for the people that are like, man, just get to the breakdowns, this isn't going to be the live stream for you. If you just want to kick it for a little while and chat about whatever, any fight card this week, anybody, whatever, then we will just we'll chat about it. And eventually we'll get to this fucking Saudi Arabia card. I'll be real. I really don't like this card that much. It's the lines are a lot for me. Let's go to Tapology. Let's pull this bad boy up. I'm making a bunch of bets I really just don't want to make. You'll carry me to glory this week. Yeah, that's right. I just got out of the shower. Much ado is made about my hair each and every week. Again, I don't have like a bad hairline. I just have a big forehead. It's a big difference. One time somebody made fun of my hair right when I got a cut on my head, and there's nothing I could do about it. I had like skin glue, like my head was ripped open, and so the skin glue was like messing up with my hair. And then someone made a comment on a bowl cut when I was wearing the headphones. It was messed up. Thought it looked good. Where's the banana? I know I should have got the banana, but yeah, no banana this week. I ate pork chops and sweet potatoes. I'm trying not to be so fat as shit, but then I'll eat like a tub of hummus before dinner. So yeah, the dinner is good in theory, but then yeah, then it doesn't work. Yeah, you made the bowl cut. Come on, man. I got a great fade. Look at that. It's clean. That's okay. I get that stuff every week. It's funny. Like one guy tries to, I don't remember where it was, some kind of Discord chat, whatever. It was like always trying to bully people about my hair. I really don't give a shit. Yeah, each one of you guys has commented on my haircut at some point in time. But if you guys go back and watch the early videos, that's when it was really bad. You know, I remember taking you guys have been on a journey with me. The last few years, you got to see me kind of grow up. And it's funny watching like from the early days of this podcast till now. Listen to the way that me and Santino talk on the mics, listen to the chemistry, just listen to every bit of it. Very different than it is now. And just, you know, you guys were kind of with me through the tab at the times. And I remember looking back at that episode like, shit, man, I was so ugly. If I was a tad bit more handsome, had a tad bit more aura, it would be me on the UFC Fight Pass getting pumped up by Dana, not Callum. It would be me. So unfortunately, though, them's the breaks. Here we are. Turn up the mic a little bit. Yeah. Let me turn up the mic. I'm sorry. I did a podcast a little earlier, and like we have a little bar right here that shows like if it's loud or not. My shit was in the red. It was like screaming at him, and he's like, "I can't hear you." And I'm like, It's loud. I'm telling you, it's loud. And then he's like, "Oh, okay. I just had to press a button." I'm like, okay, yeah. Get a little coffee. All right, yeah. So turned up, yeah. Never personal. I know. I don't really care if it is personal. I have learned to just like tune out the comments a lot of times. When are you looking to get back in the cage, man? I would love to get back in the cage soon. The issue for me is I weigh 157 pounds right now. This has never happened to me before. Actually, it did happen one time. I thought I was quitting MMA. I don't know if you guys know a lot about me, but I had a pretty bad injury. Not an injury, I guess. I don't know. But my hand, it doesn't work. This is how my hand is. This is the most that I can open my hand. I have no strength in my fingers. I can make a nice fist. That's it. But I have extreme atrophy on my forearms. So I took about 3 years off to try to figure out what was going on with that. I had started a sales job. So at that point for me, I was like, my career is pretty much done. I had fought since I was 18 years old till 23. And then I was like, okay, well, that was it for me. Like I have one hand for the rest of my life. During that time, I had started a sales job. So I was just eating on the road all the time, fast food every day, wasn't training, didn't care. And I got up to about 160 pounds. And worst time of my life. I was like fat, depressed, all this stuff. And then I started training again. Santino was like, man, you need to stay in the gym, start doing something. Somehow I came back better than I was when I left, and I hadn't trained at all. And I got the weight off, all was good. But right now it's weird because I have abs. My cardio is good. I'm training every day, and I'm still 157 pounds. So do the math on that. It's a 31 pound weight cut. That's tough. I need to get my weight back down at least like 10, 15 pounds just walking before I get anything done. Going to give out PFL takes. Yeah, we can chat a little bit of PFL. I haven't done any tape study on PFL yet, but I have a pretty good idea of who I like and who I think will win. Where's Camuela? He's a YouTube niche micro celebrity now. Yeah, I love that guy. Who did you do podcast earlier with so we could watch it? Let me find his name. I get hit up to do a lot of podcasts. I just can't do them always. It's Mark from the Touch 'Em Up podcast. Super nice. I wanted to make sure I was following him right now because how bad would that be if I go on? I'm all cool with them. And then he's like, dude, you're not even following me back. Let's see what else we got. Who is that? Which one is that Crypt Killer? Okay. Yeah, I'm permanently throwing up gang sign. That's right. If you guys ever ask me to like handshake, it's like a nightmare for me. I was out this weekend. This week was a wild week for me on the women front. I had no idea jumping back into the dating pool. This shit got easy this time. All the other times, man, I was like, fuck, I'll never find somebody else. That's why I would settle for literally anything. And then this time, I feel a little sense of aura, jump back into the dating pool, and this girl went to handshake me. Like, hey, nice to meet, like introduce yourself. And man, I get so self-conscious because I got to stick out my little paw and hope they guide my fingers, perfectly into the handshake. And I do sales for a living too. So every time you do a deal, everybody wants to shake your hand. It's awful. A high five, look, as my high five, no good. That's why I just adopted fist bumps, and that's a pretty routine thing in MMA. So yes. Your girlfriend gonna be pissed, not the Brazilian one. Which one, man? Which one of my girlfriends gonna be pissed? What would you recommend to do to improve your cardio? Okay, good question. What would you recommend to improve your cardio? So I guess one, it depends on what kind of cardio you need, if it's for fighting or just in general. A wise man once told me before he started being a diva, Christian Rodriguez. So this is kind of what changed everything for me. One, weightlifting is super important just for muscular endurance, right? No matter how much you run, like your muscles still will get fatigued, just lactic acid, all that stuff. But Christian told me like, hey, with the cardio, with the running, that dude runs a lot. Like he'll do 15, 20 miles like a couple times a week. Like the dude is a really, really good runner. But he told me just get through 3 miles. Doesn't matter how fast, how slow, just get 3 done, no matter what. Like even if you have to walk, but as much as you can, run and hit the 3. And once you do that for like, I don't know, literally a week, your legs start to fortify a little bit. It becomes so much easier. Try to breathe through your nose. And then 3 is just the baseline. That's a light day. And then that's super easy. Now 5 is the next goal. That becomes super easy. Then honestly, you can do 10. I told this story. Pardon me. I told this story before. I was never a runner. I could barely get to 3 miles. And this is when I was talking to Christian about it. I said, dude, I'm struggling to even hit 3 miles. He goes, just get it done. Just do it. I said, okay. And then one day, and this is when I was going through the crazy ex-girlfriend. You guys remember this time, maybe the one that was like saying I beat her and like having sex with my teammates, doing all the crazy madness. And I was upset about that. She stole all this jewelry from my house and like quartz and all kinds of shit, just madness. And so I woke up one day and I was feeling pretty shit. And I drank a cup of coffee. I had a sip of water and I just put my shoes on and was just like, all right, let's go. And I ended up running a half marathon after having never ran more than 5 miles a single time in my life, not once ever. I ran 13 miles at a 10-minute pace. I literally did a half marathon. And then from that point on, it changed like everything for me. All of a sudden, my cardio was good. I was doing, 3 5-minute rounds, easy. Like training was awesome. I'd never felt better. So I'm getting close to that point again. I think that my legs are going to get there, start pushing those 5-10 mile runs. And then it's time to get something lined up. Let's see. Collab with MMA Guru. That'd be fun. Let's see. Thoughts on the mush of the week. I don't really know what the mush of the week is. Oh yeah, we're sponsored by Fight Chalk. Why I never get a check for that? Look, I don't even got doors on my closet. If the Fight Chalk check starts coming in, I'm getting some doors in my place. Sunday jogs. Yeah, that's right. He's talking about bedtime cardio. Ooh, that's just practice, my friend. That's just putting it to it. Why don't more fighters swim and save their legs? Way better cardio doing it that way. Water polo. Well, here's the thing. You don't need to save your legs. You need your legs. The thing that goes out on me first when I run is not my cardiovascular endurance. It's like I can breathe really well. My lungs open. I feel fine. It's my legs, like literally just the impact on my legs. And when you're fighting, it's the same thing. Like you're bouncing all the time. That's why boxers, they run so much. That's why boxers are jump roping so much. Boxers have way better cardio than MMA fighters because of just literally running and jump roping all the time. Their calves feel good. They can constantly bounce and move and change angles. Like it's a huge difference. So that's why the swimming is good. And I do swim. I tried to swim today. I did a lap back and forth in my pool. Any opening opinion on Perry versus Jake Paul? Will Mike Perry bare knuckle form work in a boxing fight with 8-ounce gloves? No, I don't think so. And I love Mike Perry. Like, if you're just asking me, opinion on just who they are as people, I love Mike Perry. I would love to see Mike Perry keep winning, but having no gloves is a huge deal. That's why he can just kind of keep eating the punches, stay there, be in someone's face, and then just split their face open. It's a big difference. I think Jake Paul's a lot bigger. Obviously, he's roided out of his mind, and the gloves is going to make a big difference. So I think Jake Paul, unfortunately, will win that fight because Mike Perry's not a very technical boxer. He's good at sticking in your face and putting a raw bare knuckle in your eye. But man. Any thoughts or spots you like for the PFL tour? Dude, there's a lot of fights this weekend. I can take a look at those. Maybe we'll do that kind of at the end of the show. I'll have to pull up those fight cards. Thoughts on Felipe Lima? He's a future champ. Yeah, man, that guy is really good, man. He really, really is good. Got them Kamaru Usman knees. Who's got those Kamaru Usman knees? Not me. I thought I did for a while. I thought my knees were pretty bad, but now I feel less old than I used to. Ironically, the older that I get. All right. Yeah. What else we want to talk about? Ibarola and Escobozo parlay. Going outdoors in the closet, brother. I'm gonna have to sneak over to the DraftKings. I got all my cash in the safe. Where do you get your sleeves? Good question, Joshua Frick. What an awesome name. So my sleeve actually got done by a friend of the Discord, friend of the podcast, and actually who trains at my gym, Siege MMA. His name's Jamie Keith. He owns a tattoo shop here in Phoenix, Arizona called Legion Tattoo. It's super cool. Actually, the meaning behind my tattoo is something because, I'm lifelong jiu-jitsu. I've done it for 14 years now. And, if anyone's ever rolled with me, I'm known for taking backs and choking them out, right? In Portuguese, it means the mata-leão, like the lion killer. So I got on my sleeve don't know if you can see. Yeah. Okay, so it's like a faceless warrior, like an African warrior, and he killed the lion, right? He's the lion killer. So a little representation there. And then because I just told you guys about my hand issues, look, he's got the one hand. It got bitten off in the battle. So it's a little representation of me with a little bit of theme, and I love watches and everything. So I got like a sundial on my arm, but yeah, a little meaning to the tattoo, not just something random that the bitches love. What would you line Aspinall versus Jones? Like a realistic, like what it would actually get lined at, or what I think it would be? Because I don't think it's really that close of a fight. Early lean on Robert Whittaker versus Ikram. Anthony, that's why we're here, buddy. We're gonna get to that. Coming to Arizona for vacation in November. I train at KMMA or Oven St. Preux. Okay, E-Ray, come in. Let's train. Yeah, let's train. That would be cool. Where does Oven St. Preux train? Is he in like Louisiana or Carolina or something? I'm not being a dick. I just legitimately don't know. Bro, Nasrat about to pull a Nate Maness and take Jared Gordon to an ugly, boring decision. I mean, he could. Jared Gordon's not like the most chinny guy of all time. He can stick around. I like him. Are you going to try to get to the UFC eventually? Yeah, man, that's the goal. I spar a lot of UFC guys, all UFC guys. I know where my level is. I know where it could be. So that's obviously the goal. And weirdly now I'm a massive 25er. I didn't used to be a big 25er. Have you tried the new UFC gloves? No, I haven't. What advice would you give for someone doing their first fight? That's a hard one, man. The first fight's really, really tough. I remember my first fight used to be on YouTube. They took it down now. And I remember going through the first round and I thought I was Conor McGregor. I had my chin up, my hands low. I thought that was like the stance to do. And I kept getting tagged, like just nothing that hurt or anything. I think I have a decent chin. And then I remember sitting down in the corner and you see Santino walk over to me. You know, he's talking to me. My eyes are like glassed over. And he just looks at me and he goes, "You didn't hear a word that I said, did you?" And I said, yeah. Didn't hear a word that he said. So don't be afraid don't be afraid to be nervous. I guess is what I'm saying. That first fight's going to be a lot of fighting on instinct. Truthfully, your first 3-4 fights are going to be fighting on instinct. Actually, realistically, I've had 11 fights and only my 11th fight was the only one I was like cognitive. I actually knew what I was doing. And even then I stumbled and I didn't mean to. I didn't know like why I stumbled. It was super weird. So don't be afraid to like be nervous. Like that's part of it. Don't freak out that you can't hear anything. Go fight on instinct. Make stuff muscle memory. That is important. When all else fails, I get hit, I get beat up in a fight, I'm shooting and I'm going to take the back and choke somebody out. So just know how you're going to win. That's the important part of fighting. What did you do to that little Greek WMMA fighter? Oh, we should talk about that. This feels like if you guys remember back in the day, Lucky late nights, and he would get all serious and talk about depression and shit. No, Vanessa was a weird situation. Does Fight Ready and MMA Lab have beef, and who would win in a 50 versus 50? I think we have beef for a few reasons. I'll address a couple of these things. So Fight Ready and the Lab. So Santino actually used to be at Fight Ready. He was like the one that helped Benson Henderson come up and Efrain Escudero and all these guys. He's a black belt under John Crouch who owns and runs the Lab. And then Santino left to start his own place. So there was a little bit of hostility there. Went to Siege, and Siege is like, I don't know, 5-10 minutes away from the Lab. They're very, very close in proximity. And then when Eddie Chaw left, he brought a lot of the Lab guys over to Fight Ready. So I don't know if it's like it's not like rival gangs like across town, like we'll blast them on site. But, you know, we have a lot of their guys that they used to have, and, you know, we're fighting for dominance in Arizona. So yeah, there's a little something. Yeah, the little Greek girl, she just, you know, for as much money, we'll put it like this. I'm a very generous person, a very, very, very generous person. And there's been a couple people that have exited my life the second that I either stopped being able to provide them value. And I don't mean value as in anything, like literally monetary value, or I just refused to do it. Vanessa came and stayed at my house and I just like wake up and she like drank everything out of my fridge, but like didn't ask me like, "Hey, is that cool if I drink all of your drinks that you have in here?" And then left like an empty box. And I'm like, the fuck? just starts doing laundry, just like whatever, just leaves her. Like she just doesn't ask for anything. Everything is kind of just hers. And at a certain point, I'm like, what am I getting out of this relationship? Because you don't do anything for me. You don't take me to dinner. You're not paying me to stay at my place. You just come here, eat all my food, drink all my drinks, just treat it like it's yours. You don't even say thank you. And so I had to sit her down and be like, yo, I think that's not cool. And then the other thing is she would tell me a lot of training stories. And well, I trained with her a lot. And so I trained with her and I lived with her. So I know like along the lines of what her skill level is. And she would tell me that she's tapping this person and knocking out this person. And one of those people just so happened to be really close in my life at the time. And so I asked them and I said, hey, is this true? And then that caused an issue internally with them. And then she knew where the source came from. It was me. And so, yeah, we're not friends anymore. So it is what it is. But I had to sit her down and be like, yo, you got to quit using me and get the fuck out of here. And she did. The reason that I ask is because you've done well for yourself financially already. I got to look at your previous question. Oh, yeah. TOAO. That's a really good question, man. And it's something I've been struggling a lot with because right after you win the million and like you're set, I have a lot of different things that I do. I don't really need to fight anymore. So finding the motivation to go in and get your ass beat for free, it sucks a lot, man. It really does. So you really have to love it. And I think for me, I'm kind of circling back to my roots and just being, like even going on dates and stuff. I'm not wearing my gold Rolex. I'm wearing my Panerai, just because nobody knows what a Panerai is, like unless you really know watches, and then it's a conversation piece. I'm fighting because I want, I want to not have any regrets when I'm done. I want to be able to show the world how good I am. So it's not even about a money thing. And for a lot of people, it is. You gave a lot of these fighters $1 million, they're never stepping foot inside a gym again. And so it takes a lot to make that decision and consciously want to come back. My striking was subpar and my grappling saved me. Well, yeah, I'm a grappler. I'm a black belt in jiu-jitsu. I'm one of the best grapplers at flyweight. I still calf kicked him and hurt him in every aspect, and my striking's getting pretty good. Let's see. Judging. No interest in judging. Wow. Gobbler choke on one, will ya? I don't know what that means. Please make it happen. Yeah, Vita Coco without permission. That's right. Did I smash Vanessa? No, that was never a thing. Silk Pajamas is a regional fighter. You're fading me. Good luck fading me. We'll see how that goes. How many fights are you aiming for by the end of this year? One more waiting for next year. Dude, I would love to have 2 more fights, like 2 fights this year. I know I'm late. I got hurt. I got hurt at the beginning of the year. And that set me back a lot. And now dealing with my weight stuff. If I could get my weight down right, then I would like to just keep my weight low and then fight 2 times this year would be good for me. Oh, okay. Gobbler called my striking subpar. I mean, it's fine. That's fine. My striking is not bad. Technically, my striking is pretty good. I don't throw a lot of great punches, but my striking is not bad, and I'm comfortable on the feet with a lot of people. Where the Pogs at? That's what I'm saying. Thank you for the nuts in play. Had the best Father's Day celebrating that bag with my brother. Cool, man. That's awesome. It was a close fight. I got nervous for a minute. You have bad blood with the gym that gave you your purple belt. What happened? Sal, that's funny because I'm pretty sure you trained there. So this is actually a funny story too. And I'm sorry, guys, I'm just rambling. We'll get to the fights eventually. That's okay, Gobbler. I'm seeing what you're saying. My grappling is legit. And that's the good thing is that I know how I win. It's not like I'm pretending to be a glory kickboxer or K1 kickboxer. I am who I am. I'm an all-around MMA fighter, and I'm going to beat a lot of guys by the threat of takedowns. And then, the guys that are standing don't have takedown defense. I'm going to beat them on the ground. It's fighting. It's not just kickboxing. It's all around. Okay, good question. So my purple belt. This was actually the worst day of my life. My purple belt, at least my jiu-jitsu career. That year, I was a rock star, man. I was ranked #1 in the world in gi and no gi in my weight class. I just won Pan Ams. I'd won nationals. I was submitting everybody. I was like, man, my dream someday is to get my purple belt on the podium of the Worlds, of the Pan Ams, some big tournament. And I remember, I think my last year doing Worlds as a blue belt, my brother actually killed himself like 7 days before the tournament. So it was Worlds, right? It was like, this will be my last Worlds as a blue belt. I'm going to get my purple. I've already been a blue belt and at a high level for a long time. And my brother actually killed himself. And so I didn't know what was going to happen. Like, man, do I compete? Do I just chill? Like, it was a big deal for me. And so I ended up competing, and I won the first match. I started crying on the mat. I was all emotional. I won my second match against a really, really good guy. He'd won no gi nationals or something that year, and he was ranked pretty high, and I beat him close match. And then my third match, I actually lost to a guy that I had already beaten at the Pan Ams earlier that year. And it's because I tried a complete different style. You know, I was a guard puller. I played top game, ended up losing on points. I was super, super sad. And so I was like, shit, man. And I was teaching classes for free. And I actually sat down with the instructor and I said, hey, I would like to, now that Worlds is done, I didn't get my purple belt and I didn't get the world championship. I would like to actually start transitioning to MMA. And he said, okay, no problem. We don't have MMA here. So, go ahead and go. So every day I would drive to Peoria, Arizona to do my MMA training. And then right from there, I was still teaching the kids class. Actually, maybe it was the other way around. I would teach the kids class first for an hour for free. I wasn't getting paid to teach the kids class. I was just getting to go to the gym for free and then drive all the way to MMA practice right after that. And it was a hike. It's like an hour drive in between gyms and then getting back home. But I was doing it. And I started coming in less and less and less. I wasn't going to my jiu-jitsu gym anymore. I was going to train with Santino and do MMA and starting to fall in love with that. And so I started showing up less and less and less. And then at a certain point, all I was doing was teaching the 2 classes a week that I was required to teach. And that was it. And even then I was just holding on by a string. And so the head instructor sat me down and he said, hey, look, you need to make a choice. It's us or them. And I said, well, that's not really fair. You guys don't have an MMA program. So how are you going to make me choose us or them? You don't have what I'm looking for. I'm trying to take the next step. And he said, okay, whatever. And so I think the next class that I taught, at that point, I was already pretty committed to Santino. I was getting my ass beat by everybody in the gym. I was like, what kind of grappling is this? Like, I'm ranked #1 in the world. How are these guys whooping me? And so I wanted my purple belt from Santino. And I taught the kids class. I ran to the locker room. I changed my clothes really quickly and I was leaving. And the instructor goes, hey, Brandon, stop. Put your gi back on. And I went, oh no, here we go. And so I went, I changed, I put my gi back on at the end of a kids class, like right before an adult class. And there was like 5 people. Usually adult classes are packed, like 40, 50 people for that gym. And there was like 5 people that showed up, like just random people. It's not like my mom came or like, people that were super important to me. It was just like a couple old guys and just had the day off work or whatever. It was like 5 people. And he's like, all right, today getting his purple belt is Brandon. And I was like, oh, cool, man. And I think it was an attempt to try to keep me, like one last Hail Mary to like try to keep me at the gym and keep me training and take me away from Siege and Santino. And I got to my car and this was all I dreamed about, you guys. Like at the time I was 19 years old. It was the only thing I dreamed of. Someday I'm going to be a black belt. I want to be high level in jiu-jitsu. This is all I could think about. I'd wake up every morning and run. I would eat sweet potatoes every meal. Just like I was like dedicated. And then he gave me my purple belt and I called Santino and just started crying. Like, man, why you give me my purple belt? This is horrible. Yeah, so that's it. That's the story of my purple belt. And then I got my brown belt. I didn't expect it. I thought I was going to be a purple the rest of my life. And Santino told me to come in for my teammates promotion, ended up giving me my brown belt. Do you have to report gambling winnings on your taxes? Yeah, you do. DraftKings, when I won the money, took like 100 and something thousand out of my winnings. And then I also had to pay a bunch of other shit too. Let's see. I thought you had really good range management and footwork in that fight. That's right, Matt. That's all I have is range and footwork. Eventually, we'll add the punches into that. I got good calf kicks too. Let's see. You can't even beat your meat. I would disagree with that. Dixon, what's the discount code for a free month of Discord? Just message me. Message me on Instagram. At the end of the day, 5,000 times. Is that Big Bird's is that his catchphrase at the end of the day? He's gonna be here, I think, next week. So at the end of the day. Okay, yeah, it's good, guys. I'm good. Like, life moves on. Thank you. I'm just reading the chat. Let's see. Kavanaugh gonna be Antoine Ass. No comment. See, once you're a black belt, how long do you have to be able to wait to give someone else a black belt? Do you have to consult with anyone else to do it? So I think you have to be a first degree black belt. So I have to wait 2 years and then I get my first degree and then I can give somebody else a black belt. But anybody that's in the YouTube chat right now, if you guys want to get promoted to blue belt, just message me. It's a one-time fee. I will promote you. Easy. You don't have any training experience. I got you. No worries. Jiu-jitsu gyms are so sensitive. Yeah, that was my biggest problem. And if you guys have listened to the show for a while, that's why I've always talked shit about jiu-jitsu. It's not because I actually don't like jiu-jitsu. It changed my life. It's given me everything that I have in this life. But they are the whiniest crybabies. Even my style now, how I roll and how I train, I would get kicked out of every MMA gym just because jiu-jitsu gym, because they're just so sensitive. Oh, you touched my throat a little bit harder than I was hoping. Don't do that. Let's see. Does it hurt my feelings when Santino calls me demeaning names? No, I I don't know that, and I got thicker skin, I guess, than sometimes maybe I present. Me and Santino have had so many funny stories I'll tell you guys another story. I like this. We're just 45 minutes of rambling, and then we'll get to the breakdown quick. Chris Lane, does Kamula have any plans getting back into the cage soon? Yeah, I think everybody's in the power struggle right now. When PFL and Bellator cut all the contracts and then the UFC cut Kamula, everybody's kind of in limbo, right? You can't just get fights as easy as you used to. So I think he's trying to find a bare knuckle MMA because that will go on his MMA record. They pay really well. That's what he's looking for. And then weird enough, and I know this is like a joke for us, but he wants to do bare knuckle boxing. And I believe him. And he will be amazing at it. And yeah, that would be cool. How does upgrading in BJJ work and what do you have to do? There is so many different weird. First of all, you have to remember there's a lot of weirdos in jiu-jitsu. And so every gym is going to have their own system. For example, I was a white belt for 3.5 years, but I never lost a match. I just killed everybody and I submitted everybody. And for some reason I stayed white belt for 3.5 years. My teammate on the exact same team was drinking, smoking, getting kicked out of school. I beat the shit out of him in the gym and he got his blue belt way faster than me. It makes no sense. Sometimes there's attendance, which I think is a shit system too, because you show up every day and you still suck. You get your blue belt. Sometimes you can win worlds 4 times and you get a stripe instead of a belt. It just doesn't make sense. There's not really any. It's when your coach deems that you're ready. And I guess it depends on your situation. If you're competing on a world stage on the IBJJF, then, it's a lot. You're going to stay white and blue for a lot longer to make sure you're ready for the next level. If you're going to MMA, jiu-jitsu sucks in MMA. Did I actually manage to sleep when I hit the millie? Must be a surreal feeling. Yes, it was a surreal feeling. I told this on the podcast I was on earlier today, though. It was already written. I already knew I was going to win the million. If you guys ever go back to the podcast before I won the million, I told everybody I was going to win it. I said, I'm buying the farm in Argentina. So I manifested. I knew it was going to happen. So it was a lot easier. It's like preparing for someone's death. If it's unexpected, it's tragic. But if you have 6 months to sit on it and they're going to die, it's a little easier to make peace with it. Hey, Eric, I got you. Purple belt. Next time I come to the gym, I'll do it in front of Tim. And you're now a purple belt. See, in Australia, there's no tax on gambling winnings. I know. That's cool. It's his filler word. That's funny. We all have those filler words. I'm trying to be better at it. I realize how much I say every podcast. I'm trying to be much better with it and just speak into your soul, right? Direct. Bankroll or bust need to leave us. Is that a podcast? I'm down to do some podcasts. I got more free time these days. Please go on Monk's MMA game show. Monk, have I been? I don't think so. Mushroom or something. Let's see. Myra Bueno Silva locked. Get the odds now before it gets hit. I don't know, man. I just need her to post on OnlyFans more. Dude, I'm so far behind in this chat now. Thank you guys for filling the chat. We got 106 people in here. This is super cool. I remember doing these lives back in the day. We had like 7 people, and it was all the same people. It was probably Dick's Insider still in there from all that time ago. Let's see. I might have to fast forward some of this. Well, someone whose feet smelled so bad you had to stop or never rolled with them again? No, but there's been a few stinky people for sure. Did that one podcast you did with that one guy get taken off? If so, why? Laguna, are you talking about with JX? Because I looked for that podcast the other day. It was a really, really good podcast. And yeah, I think he pulled it down because he started a Patreon. So he was trying to kind of put everything behind a paywall. Bad idea, JX. Come on, man. Okay. Yeah, you hopped on happy hour once with me. Okay. Okay, Monk. I know you. I'm sorry. I thought it was Mushroom Philly or something, but I remember. Okay. Yeah, that was fun. Oh, I came on the day that the Kraus story broke. You know what's so funny is like Santino's the inside guy. Like you guys don't understand. Everybody loves Santino. The staff, the writers, the journalists, the everybody at the UFC loves Santino. So Tino gets all the inside information, and then he tells me, who is the most secretive person in the world, something happens with me, I take it to my grave. And so he told me a lot of the behind the scenes with all the Kraus stuff. That shit is wild. And somehow, some way, he's not in prison. I don't know. That's cool. Good for him. Good for Jeff. I think Jeff Molina is a cool guy, and Senko. All that is all cool people. But if you knew the magnitude of what was really going on versus what has actually transpired, pretty crazy. I'll message you about bankroll a bus soon. Okay, it's a game show. I'm not very good at games. Dakota Ditcheva is the truth. Dude, you guys got to quit fetishizing these MMA girls. Let me tell you as somebody who's been there, done that. There's nothing good about an MMA girl. You might see a pretty face in Dakota Ditcheva, just this tall with abs, just gorgeous, the pretty smile. Let me tell you what probably goes on in her house. She's probably punching holes in the wall and beating the shit out of every boyfriend that she's ever had. Like, shit's not a game. No logical, sane woman is signing up like, man, someday I want a family and kids and be domesticated and I want to just live a happy life, and then is signing up to go fight people. Let me tell you that. I am dealing with the most insane situation right now. You guys have no idea. I thought the shit before I was dealing with that girl was crazy. This is crazy too. This is even worse for me. You have no idea. So stop fetishizing these MMA girls. Go find somebody real. They're better looking outside of MMA. They're nicer. They're more balanced. Like, enough with these MMA girls. I've retired. Her fighting skills. Who cares about her fighting skills, man? I think that Yair Rodriguez would knock her the fuck out. What you mean her fighting skills? Angel Cardona, can we get to the fights? No. Now, just for that, we're going to take another 20 minutes just rambling. Who's your favorite mugshotty? My ex. I got drunk one day and I sent her her mugshot into the Mugshotties account. That was so funny. Henry Corrales, my teammate, messaged me. He's like, bro, what the fuck? Because he found it on his own. I didn't tell him. The shotty chasing you on the I-10 was one. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, how can we ban somebody? Can we kick Angel Cardona off the stream? All right. Matt, you too. You're off the stream, man. You're off the stream. Both of you guys off the stream. Who gives a shit about fights? You guys, every fight on this card is like minus 300 for a bunch of shitbags. This is what you want to bet on? Come on, man. Come on, man. Need an Amish girl. Okay, I have a little story for you guys because I'm like I said, I'm back in the dating pool. And so I meet guys, I'm trying to push this podcast as long as I can. And this is for my own good. This girl will not leave me alone. And the longer that I do the podcast, I can just keep telling her like, no, sorry, I'm doing the podcast. But the second that this shit ends, she will probably be at my door. This is crazy. I picked this girl up. No, I'm sorry. I meet this girl on Hinge. She comes. We're gonna go to dinner, and I say, "Hey, I just need a little more time." I said, "If you want, you can come to my house. I'll drive you to dinner. All good." So apparently, she takes an Uber to my house and just tells me like, "Yeah, I'll wake up with your dogs tomorrow." This is my first time ever meeting her. Okay, well, that's fucking weird. This is a Mexican girl, has never left the country in her life. She's always been in the United States. Lives in South Mountain, Arizona, like ghetto Mexican, whatever. She got a nice house down there, whatever. It's not her house. She lives with her family. And she's talking, and I said, what's up with your mouth? What's up with your accent? And she goes, "Oh yeah, this this full Mexican girl is speaking with an Australian accent, but it's like a half Australian accent. I don't know what the fuck's wrong with this woman. She clearly some screws loose, and this is maybe what I attract. She is a full Mexican from South Mountain, Arizona, speaking with an Australian accent and just assuming the sale. She's like, all right, we're just together. She called me babe. Like, I'm like, no. So guys, the longer that I can keep doing this, the less I gotta deal with that. Dude, I do not like the crazy ones. Trust me. I just think I can fix them. And I think like, they'll fix themselves for me. Yeah, she's a poser. Dude, I'm telling you guys, that's the craziest shit I have seen. A girl who's never left the United States. Her family has some kind of like relation in business slightly to Australia. Start speaking with an Australian accent. And I swear to God, it is the weirdest shit I've ever heard in my whole life. The Aussie accents are sexy. I'm kind of over the Aussie accents. I'm over Aussies in general. Fuck the Aussies. I like, where's Teresa Bleda from? Anyways, did I smash? Well, yeah. And that's why I got to milk this before I got to tell her like, hey, no more. Because I can get a couple more out of this. Yeah, actually that's what I thought about was Madonna when deciding her accent. That was crazy. I wish I could just develop an accent. I really like the Drake Culture Vulture stuff when he was doing the Jamaican accent for a while. Chet Hanks doing the Jamaican accent. I'm going to get there eventually. I will develop an accent. I would love to be Ghostface Killer, like a New York accent, Ghostface Killer. He's always who I idolize. So I try to say some words like him sometimes. The Czech Republic. Big Steve. Can you talk like a Fudo? No. I tell people I'm Mexican. They do not believe me. And I'm not. All right, guys. I think we better get to the fights before Angel Cardona loses his mind. Let's get to the fights. All right. So, guys, how many fights we have? 11 fights on this card. I hate this card for betting. I don't know if I say that every week, but I think I kind of hate this card for betting. So first fight of the night, we have Long Xiao versus Chang Ho Li. I think this fight is lined just about correct. Both of them were huge underdogs in their final fights. Both of them were fighting grapplers. Pardon me. Oh, I'll get a little coffee. Yeah, sorry, guys. Both of them were fighting grapplers, and both of them kind of did the same thing. They defended a lot of takedowns, outlasted their opponent. Chang Ho Li actually had a great ground and pound finish. I think he was probably down 2-0 in that fight and then came back and ended up winning. I know they were super critical how he shot back in for the takedown, and but he ended up finishing and he looked good. Southpaw, he's clean. He's not overwhelming, not overwhelmingly amazing anywhere, but he's clean. And then we got that other guy. We got Long Xiao, who seems a lot less technical, but a lot meaner. Like his strikes have a little more oomph to them. I mean, I think this is lined about correctly. I would put this kind of as a pick 'em. In my mind, I think Chang Ho Li is a lot more well-rounded. And I know that the last guy really couldn't get the grappling off on Long Xiao quite like he wanted to. But I think here's the big difference is Chang Ho Li is a much more well-rounded fighter. It's a lot easier to defend takedowns when that's all the opponent's going to do. They're just going to shoot in your legs, Jerry Leshy style. And all you have to do is defend those takedowns. It becomes a lot easier. When you're starting to mix in the striking, and we'll talk about him a little bit later, John Castaneda. He's one of my favorites to do it. He's so good at just mixing in stance switches, punches to kicks to takedowns, back to punches, and just mixing everything together. Not that I'm saying Chang Ho Li is like that level of stuff, but I think that his striking is serviceable enough. I think the southpaw look is a thing. I think he's just more well-rounded, and at some point that grappling could come into play. So between the two, with just a very touch on those, I didn't go like crazy in depth, but I think between the two of them, I like Chang Ho Lee in that fight. Okay. So 1-800-GAMBLER fight. Why is it a 1-800-GAMBLER fight? I hate when everybody says that. Like, there's a way to make money on every single fight ever. Drop the name drop Jerry Leshy. That's right. All right. Let's move on to the next fight. And this one is going to pain me to break down. I just think this is a hilarious fight. We have Magomed Gadzhiyasulov. Magomed Gadzhiyasulov versus Brendson Ribeiro. Dude, this is gonna not be good to the haters. I know how everybody's already gonna angle for this fight because it's the first thing that came to my mind. Also, everyone's gonna go, "You are crazy square to play Magomed Gadzhiyasulov because he looked like shit against the fat guy, and Brendson Ribeiro knocked out whoever, and he's dangerous." And I totally get and understand that. The sad part about this fight is Brendson. How the fuck do I say that name? It's close enough to my name, and there's already so many variations of the same shit. I imagine that Brendson, one, he's willing to die on his shield no matter what. Two, even pre-UFC, we see the guy has got a glass chin. And three, he's not extremely technical. He's pretty horrible. Like, he's amongst the worst guys in the UFC currently. And I think that's why they're obviously flying him out to Saudi Arabia to be made an example of. Now, Gadzhiyasulov, I don't think he's great. I think he's fine. He's got some cardio issues, maybe some process issues. He doesn't really like know how to go for the kill and go for the win. But I think this fight could be as simple as Brendson touches him one time and Magomed's going to shoot for a takedown, and then that's it. Like, that could be the whole fight right there. Magomed gets on top, beats him up a couple times. Brendson turns his back, and then Magomed's going to choke him out. I hate the number on Magomed just in general in any fight, but I think he's reserved enough on the feet to stay safe. You know, if he engages in a firefight, it's anybody's fight, and we know that. But I think he's reserved enough. He kind of fights like a pussy. And the second that he gets touched, at any point in time, he can resort to the wrestling. He's going to get him down. He's going to get on top. He's going to do some damage, and that's his fight. So, dude, I hate to say it, but I am going to put him in a parlay. I will do it because I think that this fight has the potential to look like the easiest fight on the card. And some of these that seem easy, I don't think are going to be easy. All right, let's see what you guys got to say about that. There's better spots on the card. Of course, there's always better spots on the card. But this could be the biggest mismatch in skill is kind of where I'm pinpointing. There are better fighters in Magomed, but this could be the biggest discrepancy in skill. Shit. Magomed and over 1 round SGP. Oh, that's funny. Monk. Santino not doing the show when there's no women's fights. That's hilarious. Gadzhiyasulov? Are you fucking with me? Gadzhiyasulov? Okay. Next fight, we're going to go Muin Gafurov and Kyung Ho Kang. Now, this fight, this is interesting. I kind of wish I had Big Bird on the show. I already know he'd be jonesing for a Muin Gafurov. And it was so funny. I remember last time he's like, Muin Gafurov, he's gonna kill Said Nurmagomedov. And I was like, dude, I don't know. Like, I don't think so. To me, it seems like Kyung Ho Kang is like the best underdog on the, not best underdog on the card, but like the way this fight breaks down to me is Muin Gafurov is going to be in his face. He's going to be swinging hammers. He's going to wrestle. Then he's going to swing hammers again. He kind of does the Castaneda thing, right? Kind of. But he's a way worse version of it, and he's got way worse cardio. So for me, Muin Gafurov is going to have to win the first 9 minutes of this fight, and he's going to have to win these 9 minutes very, very convincingly. Like, he's got to leave no doubt for these first 9 minutes. Like, I'm sorry, 8 minutes. 8 minutes. I'm trying to like kind of essentially split that round. He's going to have to just leave no doubt in the mind for 8 minutes. Like, those are his minutes, his rounds, because at the certain point when he's fading, he can't hold down Kyung Ho Kang. Kyung Ho Kang is jabbing the shit out of him. He's seeing every overhand right that he's throwing. Like, then it's going to be a very different fight. And so what's going to score more effectively? The guy with horrible body language that's visibly exhausted and just throwing big shit and missing, versus Mr. Perfect, who's nice and clean. I get the criticism of Kyung Ho Kang. Like, he doesn't separate himself a lot. He's very jab heavy. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes, which is one of his best traits. I do love that about him. He's just a very clean fighter. I think Muin Gafurov I think that's a perfect way to put it. He's like a shittier version of John Castaneda. Castaneda can bring the chaos. Castaneda mixes things up so well. I love Castaneda's striking. I think it's a million times better than Gafurov's striking. The way that he switches stances and he always knows what he's going to throw out of each stance, and he does everything for a purpose. Gafurov just kind of closes his eyes and chucks him. And sometimes he lands, sometimes he doesn't, but there's not a real process. And what's the point of him going for takedowns? Then what's he going to do? He doesn't really ground and pound people. He's got no jiu-jitsu. So what's the point of him even going for takedowns? If it was a pick 'em, okay, I understand. Like, you're going to get the forward pressure of Gafurov. I kind of like that play, but I'm going to probably end up being the only guy in the world on Kyung Ho Kang here. I like him to jab the shit out of him. Even watch the first round with Castaneda. He was pressing Castaneda. He wasn't on his back foot the whole time. He was pressing them. He was adding the ones, the twos. I think he's so much taller, so much longer, so much sharper. He's going to see a lot of that stuff coming. I get he's old, but, the Asians aren't aging. That's what they say. So give me Kyung Ho Kang at dog money. I like that bet. Let's see. What do y'all say about this one? Sharp parlay here for the banana. Okay, what is this dude's name? I think Gafurov wins, but Kang is very live here. Yeah, it's hard to like really plant a flag on one side or the other. I really think this is going to be a close fight. I'm not a big like split decision kind of guy, but I feel this fight would be a split decision type deal. They're probably gonna rob the shit out of Kyung Ho Kang and give it to Muin Gafurov, and we all know who the real winner is. Let's see. Gafurov had Saeed right where he wanted him. Exactly. This is actually surprising in the comments. A lot more people on Kang than I thought. I thought everyone's going to be like, you stupid idiot with your receding hairline and funky ears. All right, let's go next fight. We have Rinat Fakhretdinov versus Nicolas Dalby. And Nicolas has single-handedly killed every square parlay of all time, with wins over Warlley Alves, Muslim Salikov, Gabriel Bonfim, Claudio Silva. Ironically, that's not quite the lineup that I had remembered in my head. We look at Warlley Alves now, it's the shell of Warlley Alves. And even he had some success in that fight. It was a close fight. Muslim Salikov, that's a good win. Muslim's a good striker, but he's old as shit. And then he beat Gabriel Bonfim, that's a really, really good win. And then Claudio Silva's complete dog shit. And the only grappler kind of on that lineup that he really went against. As much as I would love to say, man, Dalby does it for the fourth time in a row. I don't think it's happening here, unfortunately. And again, this is another fight, just like the Magomed fight. I think this can be one of the easiest looking fights on the entire card. Like, think about Bonfim. Bonfim was just so full of cum. He goes out in his own country. You got the Brazilian bravado, the macho. You want to show the bitches, like, I'm down to swing. He gets right in Dalby's face, and Dalby just doesn't leave. He doesn't go away. And you're adrenaline dumping everything that you have. You're going takedowns. Everything is massive and explosive. Dude, he adrenaline dumped himself so fucking hard. And we haven't even seen Dalby fight like that before. Like, just seeing Dalby in the pocket just throwing hammers like that was crazy. That was a crazy scene. I think this fight's going to be much different. I understand the last fight with Zaleski and Rinat. And honestly, on rewatch, it was worse than I thought. Like, worse than I thought. The fact that he won a round standing and then just finished the takedown with like a minute left on the clock, I was like, oh, that's not a good idea. Like, you are the grappler. you're the top heavy wrestler. Like that's what you need to be doing, not this back hammer fist bullshit that he's doing, right? Maybe I worked that into my game. I like Rinat here. I think anytime he wants takedowns, he's going to get it. Watch back the Bonfim fight. Like Dalby is good at existing until his opponent dies. And what if he doesn't die? What if Rinat gets one takedown per round? Dalby's takedown defense isn't amazing. I mean, losing so badly at the beginning to Claudio Silva, who has the worst gas tank of all time, has no clue how to fight, barely an MMA fighter. I think Rinat needs one takedown per round. He's got such good control on the hips. He's always tying up the hands, the Dagestani handcuffs. He's scooping legs. He's re-wrestling. He's punching. He's doing all that good stuff. I think that's going to give him enough time to rest on top. Whereas the fight against Zaleski's lateral movement, big punches, great boxing. Like that dude knows how to fight Dagestanis. I think this fight with Dalby is going to look much different. So I like Rinat in this matchup. Dalby only worth playing live anyways. That's so right. Like half these fights, you don't really have to overthink them. Like think about last week, Melky Costa and Nurdenbecky. Why would you ever play Melky first round? We knew he was going to get taken down. We knew he was probably going to lose the first round. And then there's the massive cardio component. So it's like, you didn't even need to. Think about a Josh Van fight. I know that fight got canceled, but why ever play him first round? Let Tagir take him down, do what he's going to do, and then let Josh kind of figure it out and then bombs away. There's just certain fighters, you don't really need to bet them pre. If anything, you're going to bet the favorite pre, let the money line get to minus 800, and then you can hedge out of your position on the other side. I think that's such a good way to go about a lot of these fights. If he wins early, then he wins early, right? All right. Next up, we have Nasrat Hakparas versus Jared Gordon. I think I'm a Jared Gordon enjoyer more than the next guy. I think the guy is solid. I think he doesn't make a lot of mistakes. He's an ultra veteran. Unfortunately, he just doesn't have the attributes, like the actual athleticism and the skill attributes. I'm a big Nasrat guy too. This is kind of breaking my heart, this fight. I like the volume of Nasrat. I like his gumption. I like his willingness to stand in the pocket. I like his chin, his confidence. There's a lot of stuff I like about him, and I think Jared is good. I think Jared swings a little bit wide and a little bit too slow for Nasrat. I wish this line was a tad bit closer. I would like it much more. And maybe I feel like it should be a little bit closer. I don't know. Maybe I feel like it should be. The whole world seems to be on Nasrat. And by the whole world, I mean Mr. Clint. I like Nasrat here. I don't think there's much more to say about that. Just the volume, the boxing. That dude's solid. I've always thought he was very good. Let's see if Gordon gets some takedowns. Yeah, you could get some takedowns. I think the game has just progressed so much. Like, yeah, Gordon gets a takedown and then what? It's so easy to get up these days. It's, I like Nasrat here. The whole crowd's going to be going batshit for him. Give me Nasrat here. And honestly, guys, I hate to do this. The most square parlay. I'm going to call this the Gombis special. Magomed, whatever the fuck, Rinat, Nasrat parlay. Run it. That's the Muzzy parlay. Take that one. All right. Let's move on to the next one. We have Shara Magomedov versus Jolton Lutterbach. This is an interesting fight for me. I like this one because I've been a Jolton Lutterbach enjoyer for many a years. Now, the alarming thing to me, it's weird. These people that are doing all these other events and then circling back to the UFC. Usually once you leave the UFC, that's when you start doing the karate combat and then you're in Glory and you're switching all these different promotions. He's been just jumping promotion to promotion and now he's coming back to the UFC, which is just a very interesting transition. His biggest names and the biggest people that he's fought at was at 155 pounds. He is now fighting at 185 pounds, which I think is very interesting. As far as a striker, I've watched a few of his Glory fights. I've bet on him in a few of his Glory fights. I don't love his stance and his style. It's chin up in the air, karate stance, karate style, punches over the top. which I think is going to be tough against Shara, who's a really good kicker. Aggressive, blitzes in, blitzes out, blitzes in, blitzes out. I don't know. It's going to be like a karate point match. The issue, I honestly, like, this line could be wide too. A lot of people are making a really, really good point about the takedowns. Like Jolton's last MMA fight, that double leg he hit was beautiful. The problem is that he hit it on a guy that's my size, not a guy that's Shara's size. Are we going to see Jolton put together a 15-minute grappling affair? I think that's what everybody's anticipating. And people forget that Bruno Silva has a really good top game. And he timed the takedowns beautifully. Right? He was always throwing it off a kick because there's not really a way to defend it. You know, maybe in hindsight, Shara Magomedov's takedown defense is a lot better than was shown in that fight. It is so hard to defend a kick. Honestly, that's going to be the next evolution of MMA. I'm telling you guys, it's going to be getting guys down with the least amount of energy, because we still see that a lot to this day. Is the guys slow down so much from these big double legs and single legs, everything's so explosive. The next evolution of MMA is going to be the Philly boys, right? How they cage wrestle and they trip off the takedowns, and it takes zero energy. It's just clean. It's catching kicks. It's shooting off of kicks. It's pushes. It's little things like that will be the next evolution, right? Things that get you top time without burning your whole gas tank. Bruno Silva's got a good top game. And the thing that I was looking for, because I remember I had bet that fight. I took Shara in that fight. Remember being a lot closer than I wanted it to be, but I also remember like leaving that fight going, okay, that was a pretty clear win for Shara, I thought. And round 3, like one thing that we did get to see was he did scoot his hips to the cage. He sat up and he got up. And then the second thing was I think Bruno reshot on him and he framed up with his elbows, which I thought was really nice. It shows that he's not completely incompetent. He got caught up a couple times. And then I think one time he was trying to knock Bruno's head off and then got taken down. So it's less I think that he has bad takedown defense and bad get-ups, more so a good fighter he was across from, a guy with good top control, but also just like his need to want to kill somebody. The way I honestly think this fight's going to go, I think this will be a close competitive fight. I think it will be a good fight, even standing, striking, because Shara's style is weird. It's not like he's like a Jaron Ennis type boxer where he's setting you up with a jab and then he's fucking punishing you on the back end with those big right hands. Like he just kind of kicks and throws whatever is available to him. He just kicks and kicks and kicks, and it doesn't feel that dangerous, maybe until it is. But I think it's going to be a really close competitive striking match until Shara is going to catch him. I feel Shara is going to knock him out in this fight only because that chin's up, the size difference, the discrepancy, the octagon jitters for the first time. Not dying on my shield on this one. I'm not going to be putting a massive wager on Shara Magomedov, but I think that he's going to end up chinning Jolton Lutterbach. Okay, we'll check in. Shara possessed looks like a goat demon. Shara has aura. You know what this card lacks, guys? This card lacks aura. I'm telling you guys, it lacks aura. There's he just wants to kill, so he totally ignored the takedowns. Bobbert fish sticks. That happens, man. It happens. Dude, half the time I'm sparring, I get taken down super easy because I just want to swing on people. I'm like, I'm a grappler. Like, why would they not want to stand with me? And then I just start swinging on people, and then they just take me down. And I'm like, the fuck? I thought we were supposed to strike like men. So the shit happens, man. You try to kill someone, you try to knock their head off. Like, Lutterbach been fighting all small guys in karate combat. I know, man. The last guy he fought was what's that guy's name? I know him pretty well. Darren. Is it Darren? Fuck. I can't remember. Yeah, Darren Smith Jr. That was, I guess it wasn't the last guy he fought, but Darren Smith Jr., that was so sad, man. Darren Smith beat the hell out of Jacob Rosales, and we're like, okay, this guy could fight. And then now he's just been the biggest can in the world, going from promotion to promotion. And the dude's tiny. Again, he's literally probably my height. I think he's like 5'7", 5'8", and fights at 175. Like, just cuts no weight, just kind of travels wherever. He's like 40 years old. Yeah. Interesting. That was a fun card, though. That was the one where the police got called and they were in the backyard at the Miami mansion. All right, moving right along. So we have Johnny Walker and Volkan Oezdemir. God, I hate this fight from a betting perspective, and I think Pick'em's right? You have all the athletic abilities and attributes of Johnny Walker. You got the height, the speed, the massive dick. the long arms, the great teep kicks. You have all those physical attributes of Johnny Walker versus Volkan, who just kind of does everything correctly, but he's just like a short, stubby T-Rex arms and just kind of a weenie in general. You know, old me would just be like, man, I love Volkan in this fight. Like at some point, he's going to catch that chin. But also banking on catching that chin always is like, that's a bad way to bet, I think. You know, I don't really believe in this whole glove curse that everybody's been talking about, but say that it's real. And say those gloves make it impossible to get knocked out. Now, Johnny Walker and Volkan fight. Who do you want? Who are you picking between those two? Because I see a sniper in Johnny Walker, and I see a guy that's got very clean, basic, just fundamental boxing in Volkan. I don't know. I think that Johnny Walker has a lot more ways to win. I think Volkan's just cleaner, more fundamental. So just on my principles, just what I believe in, I'll pick Volkan Oezdemir. But I'm not going to bet that fight, at least not pre. I need to see how they come out. I need to see how Johnny Walker is just going to react to being back in the cage again. I mean, the dude just gets knocked into the next dimension nearly every fight card, right? And then he'll come out, look world class. And the next fight, he gets his jaw sent to the back of his head again. So I would say just chill, watch that fight, enjoy that fight, see if there's an opportunity for yourself. I think I will pick Volkan, but that's just on vibes. That's not on like tape or anything like that. Because who knows? Like if we're looking at tape and chin's not a factor, I'll probably go Johnny Walker. But yeah, I'm gonna stick with the Volkan pick. All right. Let's see. Volkan more technical. He is more technical, but more technical doesn't always mean a better striker. Like there are guys that are not very technical and they can get stuff in there, right? They sneak in front kicks and do dynamic things that are not technical and they end up winning anyways. Look at last week Gabby Fernandez and Carly Judice. Judice was a lot more technical, right? She was working the body. She was adding 3-piece combo. She was finishing everything with a kick. Like everything she did was so technical and so beautiful. And she just got out physical by just the jungle woman, right? That just beast of a woman. So it's not always the technical it's not everything. It just isn't. John Kavanaugh is always telling Walker to touch. No power, just touch. Yeah, but maybe that actually is good for him in this fight. What if he sticks and moves and just throws front kicks for 3 rounds? Like, and Volkan can't reach him. Who knows? I just what Johnny Walker is going to come out. We never know. Like he fought Thiago Santos and just moved around for 5 rounds. And then sometimes he goes full ape and gets blasted. Like you just don't know. Walker's got great length. Girth leaves something to be desired. Are we able to talk about that? Like, what was the deal with Johnny Walker? He was sending his cock to some people, underage people, or were they of age? I don't know. Johnny Walker is just like a kind of a pervert guy. I got onto Instagram yesterday, and it sent me down this like whole entire thing. I saw this Tesla Cybertruck in Brazil. And man, you want to see some racism in some comments? Pull up that video of the Cybertruck in Brazil. They go, Cybertruck spotted in Brazil. And the driver had the window down, right? And there's this dude with like dreads and stuff. And he's got some face tattoos. And every white person on earth was like, I wonder how he got that. Wonder how many bricks he's moving to afford that. Because they were talking about the cost of the Cybertruck, right? In foreign countries, it costs so much to get cars and stuff. Like, my friend lives in Costa Rica and drives a Maserati, like a brand new Maserati SUV. I would be willing to guess that's probably a $300,000 vehicle in Costa Rica. Everywhere else, whatever. It's expensive. It's a beautiful vehicle, but it's not that much. So that's what they were talking about. And that's where the real racism comes out. And then I remember seeing Johnny Walker in the comments, I think somewhere along the lines. It's just funny. And then it took me down the dark path. To be a celebrity in Brazil, you really just have to like have face tattoos and just scream a lot. Like the dude is the guy who had the Cybertruck. He's not a drug dealer. He's like a influencer or whatever. And all he does is park in the middle of roads, just pop champagne and just like throw bottles on the ground and just scream. Like, man, like it's a different way of living out there. That's all I'll say. Different way of living. Okay. Haunter, what's the most amount of money you've lost on a bet? On one specific bet, it was $30,000 on one specific bet. But I've told that story a few times. I lost 70,000 that one day. So yeah, 30,000 on one solid bet is what I've lost the most. Let's see. Say Chi Wee Wee. Dude, the Chi Wee Wee thing is hilarious to me, man. That kid's so funny. Like, he's just such a kid. And he's good at fighting, but he's just such a kid. All right. This fight I am super excited for. So next up we have Muhammad Naimov versus Felipe Lima. And I think it's important. Can we do a check on Naimov? Is he really 5'9"? Because I think that's the part that I'm missing. And I bet Lima when the line came out, but I guess I didn't realize that the weight class is different. And now that I'm looking at this, he's listed at 5'6" and Naimov's listed at 5'9". It's really hard for me to look at Naimov and picture him 5'9". The guy seems really, really, really small to me. If size and strength were equal, I'm taking my net worth and I'm putting it on Lima. I think that kid's an amazing striker. The kid is a gorgeous striker. He's got great hips. He defends things well. He's got great jiu-jitsu. That kid's a stud. He's next level. I really think he's good. And Naimov always been a bit of a gas can, and he's big overhands and just everything's big, and just tries to bully his way and muscle his way through everything, which is generally something that I hate. Yeah, he didn't look that much bigger against Nate Wood. And then Uncle Weezy's saying he's 5'9", but I just don't believe that he's 5'9". I need to ask his manager if he's really 5'9". And if he's 5'9", I need to start saying I'm 5'10". I need to change my hinge profile. If all things were equal, I'm picking Lima all day. Hey, Jimmy, bedtime, you asking my line on Lima? I probably got the worst line of them all. Luckily, it's a small opener. I think it was a 500 limit or something like that. But I got like minus, let me see. I'm embarrassed to even say it because I didn't tape Lima before I placed it. I think Big Bird or Pierce told me this kid is future UFC champion. He'll kill O'Malley tomorrow. So I bet him. Okay, I got minus 140. So that's not a great line. I digress. Skills, everything equal. I like Lima here. I think Lima's actually going to make this super competitive. I think he can wear out Naimov. Even look at the Naimov and Wood fight. Let's be real, guys. Wood is not a 45er. He's tiny, man. He's not a 45er. So we're essentially going to see the same kind of thing like in this fight. It's like a blown up 35er that just doesn't have to cut weight versus Naimov. And Wood is good and he punches in combination, but his takedown defense was so horrible that fight. And anytime that Naimov wanted to get aggro, he just did. I think Lima's much better. I think he's a good striker. I think he's a more powerful striker than Wood. Maybe not as much volume and combinations. I think he's got a better chin than Wood has. He's plus 100 right now. I want more of that. I'll take a little bit more of that. I'm not afraid. I get that Naimov is the full camp and he's a muzzy and all that good stuff. I think Lima is legit. I think he's really, really good. Yeah, minus 140. I get it, man. I know. It's not every bet's got to be a good bet. Believe me, I get it. Lima's the hipster play of the week. I don't know. I haven't heard anybody say that on Lima. I keep seeing every comment say that Naimov at Pick'em is a steal. It's the best bet of the week. Little do you guys know, the best bet of this week isn't even on the UFC. It's on something completely different. And I'm taking the $10,000 I have in my safe, and I'm going to go to DraftKings every goddamn day until they take all of my money without harassing me and let me get it down. Okay? So I'm going to pick Lima. I get it. That could be a horrible pick, but I pick Lima. I like his skills. I really do like his skills. I think the dude is solid. Okay, where are we now? Hear me now. So next up, we have Kelvin Gastelum and Daniel Rodriguez. I obviously am not going to talk about this one because Kelvin is my teammate. I guess just like a funny I don't know if I should say. I don't know. We're just vibing. Who even watches this channel? Who even watches? Nobody watches this. That's funny. So my crazy ex-girlfriend, the one that the courts and the beatings and all that stuff, I told you guys she like banged all my teammates. Now I'm not saying that Kelvin did or did not have sexual intercourse with my ex-girlfriend immediately after us breaking up, but a few days after we broke up, on social media, as all I'm saying, on social media, this is purely speculation. I don't have any evidence. I don't have anything. I don't have a video. I don't have anything. But a few days after we broke up, or like a few weeks maybe, she posts a picture inside a closet. And the closet has a poster in it. And it was, the headliner was Gastelum and Israel Adesanya. And there's a lot of Nike shoes that I kind of recognize from some YouTube videos and stuff like that. So I'm not saying anything. But every time I see Kelvin at the gym, he gives me the biggest smile. He goes, "Hey," and he's a very nice guy. I like Kelvin. He's super, super nice guy. So maybe we're connected a little deeper than we originally thought, you know. So I'm rooting for Kelvin. I hope Tino doesn't go out to Saudi Arabia for nothing. Kelvin's looked super good in the sparring rounds and in camp. Dude hits like a tank. Let's hope he makes weight and then has a great fight. I love D-Rod too. D-Rod's a really fun fighter. He's kind of like how cool I wish I could be. Very stoic. I wish I could act that way and shut my yapper. All right. What is up next? Let's see. Yeah, I think we might Daniel, I think this was before he had a girlfriend. So I think he's cleared also. Rest in peace, Yasmin. You guys were cute together, I thought. Yeah, she was using me for a green card, man. That's funny. Been hit by a tank. Don't hit like KG. So, damn, so Brethren is a JP. Why am I the JP buys? JP Bays. She didn't go to Fight Ready. Her brother's on the fight team, but she didn't go to Fight Ready. It didn't work like that. But it does seem, you know what's funny is like me and Cejudo, we don't get along at all. Never have. Since I was 19 years old, we got a fist fight in the middle of the mat. Never liked me, ever. And he used me for the Islam Makhachev versus Charles Oliveira breakdown. And it was weird because we hadn't talked in like 5 years, something like that. Like we just do not talk to each other. We show up, we beat the hell out of each other, and then that's it. Like it's never been friendly with me and him. So we do the breakdown video, and I was like, man, this is huge. Like this is we've come a long way. We're mending the relationship. He was teaching me boxing. And I remember telling him, I was like, hey, I think I'm going to put 25K on Islam. And he kind of looked down on me like, you don't got 25K. You really going to put 25? You don't have that much money. And I was like, no, I think I'm going to do it. And the next week, I ended up winning the $1 million. And I got to the gym, and I didn't say a word. It wasn't like I showed up with like an Ace of Spades bottle and I'm blasting it as soon as I enter Fight Ready. I just showed up like normal, just mind my business like I always do. I don't change anything. And I remember everyone going, Brandon, congrats. And Henry like looking around like, what the fuck's going on? And he's like, what did he do? Like, why is everyone saying that? And like, oh, he just won $1 million. And I remember Henry, the look on his face was like, motherfucker. And when I started dating Yasmin, it was the same thing. You know, he sees this new pretty Brazilian in the gym and whatever. And he asked her, oh, so where are you living? And she's like, oh, with Brandon. And you just see Henry like, motherfucker. Every single time it just ends up being something like that. It's just funny. And I ended up dating her and stuff like that. So yeah, it always ends up being me. Anything to piss off Henry. I don't know what's next. So you probably have more money than Cejudo. I don't think so. I think Cejudo's is stacked. Like no hate, man. Like I don't like him as a human being. Like even last week, he was trying to tell my teammates to hurt me. I always love winning around when Cejudo is coaching against me, telling people to kill me. It's always great. But no, dude. I mean, he's a successful. He's a UFC champion. Like I don't got more money than him, man. He's done well for himself. He's a very successful person, regardless of his character. All right, let's get to some fucking fights. Already on the co-main event. We got a lot more time to yap. This has only been an hour and 20 minutes. They need to add some more fucking fights to this. Where's that little Egyptian girl that fights in the PFL? Can we get her on this shit? No, she's Saudi Arabian. She fought an Egyptian girl. We need to get her on this bad boy. All right. We got Sergey Pavlovich versus Alexander Volkov. Now, I've heard the training room stuff, or I saw the training room quote. Yeah, I kind of believe that. And the thing about training is like you never really know. I take all that stuff with a grain of salt. The one example that I always give, because this was at the very, very beginning of my betting and my gambling time. I think it was Gustavo Lopez. He fought Adrian Yanez. And I just remember listening to an interview with him, and he was just like, man, I train at Extreme. I train with the best guys in the world. This kid has no idea what he's in for. Like, I'm the guy. And I remember from that point forward, because he got smoked badly when he fought Yanez. I was like, I don't want to listen to any sparring stuff or training stuff or anything like that. Like, even look at Montana De La Rosa. No, sorry, that's a bad example. That's the worst example, because she did train with JJ Aldrich and then looked horrible. She was afraid to shoot because JJ was hard to take down. So that's a bad example. But, you know, the real fights play out so differently than the training room stuff. Now, just purely from the matchup standpoint, like, I like Volkov. Again, I love to go against the guys that have all first round knockouts. I love to be the first one to like bet against them right when they lose. Now, Aspinall versus Pavlovich, I thought was an easy one for me. I really think Tom is legitimately that good. But to me, man, Volkov is so slow, so big, so slow, takes a while to slow cook. And I said this on the last podcast. Pavlovich is an interesting case to me. Like Terrence McKinney, you can watch that guy fight and you go, dude, there's no way this guy can do this for 15 minutes. His style is just way too chaotic. You know, just even as a fighter or even just as an observer, this guy can't keep this pace for 15 minutes. And if he does, let's check his blood, because he's got copious amounts of EPO. But Pavlovich is almost the complete opposite. Like, he fights very reserved. He's not going berserk unless he's in a finishing sequence, right? Maybe the worst thing that could happen for him in this fight is he hurts Volkov and then goes insane trying to finish him and doesn't. That would be disastrous. But other than that, man, he's pretty relaxed. He's pretty composed. He's got good timing on his punches, and he's got this like God-given power. You know, I've seen Volkov in the last few fights, and he just looks so fragile and so slow. He's not massively bigger than Pavlovich. I mean, Pavlovich is a wide dude. He's a heavy load, man. As much as I would love to play Volkov, and maybe this is a live bet angle, I think that stopping power of Pavlovich is going to be a lot for him. Pavlovich is a lot better than I had originally ever given him credit for. He's got a good jab. I've seen him go rounds before. You know, I know it was pre-UFC, but seen him go rounds. Man, it just seems like getting hit with a brick every single time he touches you. So, as much as I hate to say it, I like Pavlovich in this fight. I don't think we see much grappling. I think Pavlovich's hips are actually probably better than anticipated too. I don't think Pavlovich is going to go for takedowns. He's going to want to strike. Dude is fundamentally solid. I think Pav's going to win this fight. All right. Let's catch up on the chat. Pavlovich did not train for this fight. Benji the Pelican near Senebal Island. First of all, how'd you get a YouTube name that long? And two, why are you just saying that? Well, you have like some actual knowledge of the situation, or you're just saying some shit? And also at heavyweight, I feel like it doesn't matter nearly as much. Let's see. Henry's a hater. Glabron, Pondum, live show. Who are you for the new people here? Yo, my name Deshaun. My name is Brandon Olivas. I am a professional fighter and a millionaire sports bettor. Gay Puja 3029. Sergey by decision is free. Dude, smell Puja Tomar jockstrap or mend with Cejudo. Guys, I have a confession. What really turned me perverted in my whole life, I was like, I loved this Indian porn star. And And then now in this new day and age, right, I signed up for the OnlyFans, and that was the saddest shit I've ever seen in my life. Like, this woman has been through drugs and disaster and all kinds of stuff. It is really, really terrifying. So, but I like Indian women. I like the nice brown skin, and you know, I don't know if I've been around a lot, so I don't know if the smell is a certain thing. But I will tell you, my guilty pleasure is Indian food. I fucks with some butter chicken, some vindaloo, some samosas. I fucks with it. I love chickpeas. I love that kind of stuff. I could eat it all day, every day. I had to stop. That's the first time I got fat. That's why. Let's see. Some of Volkov's recent wins have been a bit fluky. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. Hey, I'm live. What's the fucking poster? You should date Tracy Cortez next. Dude, well, you just missed my whole thing about no more fighter girls. They're fucking nuts. And Tracy seems less stable than the rest of them. Let's see. She's all drama. This sucks. Knew you were gay. Dude, who the fuck's this hater in the chat? How do we ban people from this chat? Big Steve? The fuck's big about you, man? Bean eggs. It wasn't Mia Khalifa. Her name was Priya Ray. I don't know how to say Priya Rai. She had like this ankle bracelet. That set me off about ankle bracelets. It was great. But Mia's nice too. I like Mia. Let's see. Not a lot of Indians out in Arizona. You'd be surprised, man. I've been matching with a lot of Indians on the Hinge. Indian food is the best. Sure is. Butter chicken twice this month. I love to hear it. Let's see. With higher skill level or heavyweight, essentially has KO power. That's a really good question. So I'll just repeat this. Do I think it's more impressive a win streak at a lower weight class with higher skill level, or heavyweight with essentially everyone has KO power? Just me, because I'm a lower weight class and I appreciate the art and the skill. I'm so biased. I'm going to say the lower weight class. I think that's extremely, extremely, extremely impressive when everybody is that good and it's not just one shot, right? I think when you get to a certain level, like look at high level heavyweight boxing, like not everybody gets knocked out. It's because those guys are actually like good at their craft. Anthony Orellana. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, man. Okay, let's do this last fight, guys, and then I'll answer some of these questions. Because I'm having fun just chatting with you guys. And that crazy Australian girl, she just texted me, so I need to kill a little bit more time. So let's talk about the main event, and then we will get to the rest of the questions. If you guys don't know me, I know this channel is exploding like crazy, much bigger than Big Steve's channel, not even a competition. But let's get into this last fight. So we have Robert Whittaker and we have Ikram Aliskerov. I was not a huge fan of Ikram's pre-UFC tape. I think there was some cardio issues. I thought there was a lot of iffy moments against competition that's not so good. However, I feel like he's the only guy on this card that has aura. And guys, I know you guys probably are like, shut the fuck up about the aura shit. But I mean it. I really, really mean it. And this year has been probably this has been my most successful betting year. And literally just betting off those. Like, old me would be like, nah, this guy's a fucking fraud, because I'm taking the tape from 5 years ago and holding it against him. And new me is like, all right, wait, hold on. He's at ATT now. He's drinking the water. He's got the supplements. Like, dude's feeling good. He's getting a push from the UFC. Somebody knows something, right? He got bumped to the main event. He was going to get the easiest, freest win of his life. And now he's in the main event against, Robert Whittaker in 5 rounds, which is a big deal. I think this is a really, really tough one for me. So even talking to Santino mentions this all the time. When Kelvin fought Robert Whittaker, I don't know if Kelvin's the smartest guy on earth, talking to him. I don't know if you guys ever watched his content. It's not as diverse as this one. It's not as intuitive and precise, but he said that he didn't have any idea what Robert Whittaker was doing. Like, everything he did was a feint, like everything came as a surprise. Nothing he did was predictable. There was no set patterns. Every single thing that he did was like, what the fuck? Then you mix that in with great takedown defense, the best fight IQ, get-ups, an amazing jab, like in and out, great distance management. And if the only thing that you have is the chin, like that's pretty solid. Ikram's good, man. I think that I was pretty hard on him coming into the UFC, but Ikram's shown nothing but like it's hard to say anything bad against him. Like literally the only thing that you could say is that he fought Phil Hawes, who's got the worst chin in the world, and then he fought Warlley Alves, who's not even taking the sport seriously. And that's it. It's just level of competition. So this is a tough one for me. I already bet on Whittaker. The line moved against me. It's not a big position that I have, and I'll be looking to get out of it. Honestly, the money's not in the UFC this week. It's everywhere else. It's not in the UFC. So it's not a huge position for me. I bet on Robert Whittaker. That's purely like a no. I'm going to be right on this one. Eventually, when I fade Ikram, it will work. I really could see Ikram winning in the first 2 rounds. The dude just is a powerhouse. Like he stands his ground. He hits really hard. He fights within himself. Like every punch is like, I don't know how to describe it. He puts a stamp on that punch, and not a lot of MMA guys do that. It's a lot of like, tag and move. He puts a stamp on it, and I like that. He's got good power. I think his wrestling is probably pretty solid. I don't know that he's going to take down Rob and dominate him. It'd be hard to especially see that over 5 rounds. I'm going to pick Robert Whittaker. I think the dude is just so fucking good, man. That guy is so good. Again, it's kind of like the Johnny Walker fight. If you took the chins out of it and the chin wasn't a thing, I don't know how close of a fight this actually is. Like one guy kind of plods forward and is kind of slow moving. The other guy is in and out and popping jabs and throwing low kicks, and you can't take him down and you can't pin him down. So I get this, guys. I have no hate against an Ikram play for anybody. I think this is like one of the ultimate, like, fuck, I really don't know. We got to see Ikram against a guy that's not Warlley Alves or Phil Hawes. But just like literally on level of competition, 5-round experience, main event experience, so many factors going to go into this. Takedown defense, cardio. I'm going to choose Robert Whittaker, especially at a line that's this close. This bet in hindsight is going to look like the most obvious thing either way, right? He gets sparked out in 2 rounds. Everyone's going to be like, well, obviously, how could you fade this Russian hype train against a guy with a horrible chin? Or he's going to just put on a fucking masterclass on a guy who, is expected to fight 2 weeks in a row. And then you're going to be like, dude, that's too much too soon. How could you ever think this line was right? So I'm going to pick Robert Whittaker, but fair play to anybody who chooses the other side. I totally get that. Most of this card I'm going to avoid. Like I told you guys, I like that super, super, super square parlay. The Rinat, the Magomed, and Nasrat. I've already played that. I want that to be my night. And it's going to take all the discipline in my heart to let that parlay finish out and then just be done for the night and just enjoy these fucking Saudi fights. See a Sheik shit on Santino's chest. Okay. All right. Well, that's the fights. Fucking Angel, whatever the fuck. You should be happy now. We're done with those. So you can turn me off and go back to doing whatever else you were doing. All right. Let's chat some questions and then I'm going to hop off. Let's see. Ikram has the aura. Yeah, he sure does have the aura, man. Nick, I kind of talked about this at the beginning of the show. I got to get my weight down. I would like to fight in maybe August. That's what I'm going to push for. I got to get new management. Let's see. What, fight Whittaker on such short notice is a tough ask for anyone. Yeah, I agree with you. Brava 2001. I totally agree. That's a huge jump in competition from fighting these UFC cans. Purple Ganacho. How good is Friday's BKFC from a betting perspective? So here's the thing with the Miami BKFCs, okay? And this will go twofold. Somebody else asked me like how I won the million or whatever. These Miami cards, these Florida cards, there is always fixed fights, and that's for the good or for the bad. You watch G Perez, Cutman, when he fought Bryce Hall, right? Everyone's like, man, he's going to kill Bryce Hall. Bryce Hall sucks. I've seen the videos of him going. Now he's going to go bare knuckle. And I told everybody, I was like, guys, I'm telling you from the bottom of my heart, I've been following the sport. I would venture to say I'm a pioneer in betting on the sport. I wouldn't touch this fight. I think it's a fixed fight. As a matter of fact, I would actually probably bet on Bryce Hall. And sure enough, the shoulder pops out and he loses the fight by injury, right? So with these Florida cards, there's always fixed fights. Always, always, always fixed fights. Look at the last Florida card, right? crushed the whole thing. The early prelims was easy. The showcase fight was easy. All first round knockouts, everything's so easy. And then you got this guy, Fames, who fights a 41-year-old with all first round knockout losses and drags that guy to a decision and loses. Not for anything more than he's just not throwing punches. He's just standing there trying not to get hit, but also not trying to win either. And he just so happens to be from the Goat Shed, who's notoriously an interesting gym like that. I don't know if anybody knows why we can't bet on Titan FC anymore. If anybody has information on that, please put it in the chat or DM me directly. Why can't we bet on Titan FC anymore? I used to love Titan FC. And methinks that the Goat Shed had something to do with that. Methinks that the Goat Shed was putting wagers in and throwing fights and costing lots of money, and there was something internal. That's just my own hunch. So to answer your question, how good is the BKFC? If you look on paper, every fight is a freaking layup fight. You can make a ton of money, and it seems super cool. But as we mature and we grow in this sport, you have to just start limiting, like, no main events. Certain fights that you just think are the biggest layups in the world, you can't do it. You just can't do it. It could be a minus 900. BKFC does not give a shit. They're not regulated by anybody. There's no gaming commission that's going to come after you for fucking throwing a fight in your bare knuckle. Like, nothing will happen to you. And that's the unfortunate part, is that shit's the Wild West. There are guys that fix their fights and throw them every single week in that sport. So it's the beauty and the curse. I'm glad I made the money when I did, because now it's like, it's almost seemingly impossible. Would I have taken Chimaev over Rob? I probably would have taken Chimaev over Rob. I just think recency on all that stuff. Let's see. If Dricus can beat you, Ikram can too. Yeah, I agree, Daniel. I agree. Let's see. Sign with Jason House. I've been asking Iridium to sign for like a few months now, but I think I'm going to sign with Sucker Punch because they haven't gotten back to me. I would love to sign with Iridium. Half the times I pull up fight cards and I see who the Iridium guys are fighting, I just want to throw up in my mouth because it's like the easiest fights ever. And my management company, every time they call me, they're like, hey, by the way, we have this like all-American wrestler for you. Or we have Ryan Burgos, who's Shane Burgos' little brother. Or we have the dude that's training with Alexa Grasso, that's an undefeated boxer. It's like, there are guys in Arizona that are fighting like 1-0 guys that had losing amateur records, and they're already 3-0, 4-0. Like, how am I keep fighting the fucking best guy? Like, you know, they keep getting offered the best guys. Like, give me a path like Antoine Ho. I'll fight all those guys. Same order as him. I'll take every single one of those guys, and I will have the same record at the end of that as he does. Let's see. Dagestan guys have incredible hairlines. Okay. Will we get BKFC locks in the BB Discord? Big Steve, I'm sorry, man. I've just been on a pussy hiatus. It's not like I'm ignoring the Discord at all. I haven't been on mine either. I've just been on a pussy hiatus. What's your best bet for the weekend? Chief Keef, I got to wait a little bit for my best bet. It's on bare knuckle, but I need to get some money down. Thoughts on Asim Zaidi? Is he legit? I hear about him having a striking and BJJ background, but see no record on anything anywhere. So here's the thing about it. I need to actually ask about him because I have a good friend, my Costa Rican friend, Arturo. He's a Danaher black belt. Legit, amazing Danaher black belt. Amazing instructor. Better than Santino for sure. I need to ask him about Asim because Asim is like, there's a lot of weirdness going on with that. And I don't know if he has family money, but I think he runs like a rental, a luxury car rental business. They always got the cars in there. And I think the rented jewelry, there's a lot of weird shit going on. And I think now he's probably made a lot of money from those fixed fights. I'm telling you guys, like, it's not a, you know, not everything's a fix, but there are a lot of those. And it could happen. Like, I have friends that are like, yeah, I'm about to retire, like my last fight. I'll throw it and we'll make some money. Like, this shit happens, man. It's not an accident. So I don't know, man. You know, he claims 4-time kickboxing world champion or whatever the hell he claims. It's fine. I think he's a good instructor. He's got some good stuff, but I think that's a lot of accolades that aren't necessarily real. Like, I don't know. I don't want to say anything too inflammatory. If it gets back to him, he's going to put me on a freaking Instagram reel or whatever. But I think he's a great teacher. I like what he's doing with the Goat Shed Academy. I think they have a lot of good guys, but it's just yeah, that's a lot of accolades for not a lot of fights and not a lot of footage. Let's see. Yeah, Nick. Yeah, send him my stuff. That would be really cool. I'd like to fight in Utah. Am I gonna go down under? I don't know what that means. I would like to. Um, where do I get most of my action down? Mr. Chico, actually, right now it's on FanDuel. FanDuel, FanDuel's like my best friend. So I ended up losing like on the UFC card last week. I lost like $17,000, but actually it was way worse than that because FanDuel gave me a $10,000 free bet. They like anytime I talk to my VIP host, he just like gives me like $400 free bet. And it's funny, like you would think I would be getting my ass beat on FanDuel, but I'm like lifetime, I'm up like 35,000 lifetime, which isn't dramatic, but that was never my main book at all until this year. And I was probably 15 to 20,000 in the red on FanDuel. So this year, like I'm up like 60 grand on legals. And the only legal I use is FanDuel, right? At least sometimes DraftKings for boxing, but mostly just FanDuel. So they gave me a $10,000 free bet. I lost that, lost 17 grand on freaking on the UFC. Luckily, I made like I think 15 or 16,000 back on Fury. But FanDuel gives me ridiculous limits, like ridiculous limits. Like a lot of you guys think it's fucking cool. Like, oh, I'm limited on FanDuel. I can get $7 down. You guys think that's such a big flex. Like I could give a fuck about the notoriety. I care about the money in my pocket. So one of these days when I get $1,000 down on this fucking plus 1,000 round 2, round 3 knockout prop, I'm not going to be like, oh, yeah, the money was cool, but I wish I got limited so I could sound way more sharp and cool. Like I've made plenty of money. Bet Online doesn't limit me. They'll let me bet whatever I want, and I'm up plenty on there too. So like we're good. You know, I don't need the notoriety. I care about the money in my account. I want to do cool shit like, you know, go across the country and have the world and have a midlife crisis. Let's why bet on Nick Diaz? Dude, I think that Luke is done. Like I don't know why. I just saw 420, I had to bet it. I just think that Luke is finished. And I get that Diaz sucks too, but it is what it is. Let's pull up this PFL card if you guys want to chat it for a bit. We still have nice. We have 130 people in the live chat. That's pretty cool. Let's see. Yeah, Moy's audio. I know down under means Australia, no shit, but there's like a lot of subliminal messages that could have been sent there. So I didn't know if somebody was referring to my actual real life or not. If there was some hidden meaning is what I mean. All right, let's take a look at some PFL. I haven't even looked at the card yet. I assume I'll like it. Clay Collard, Mads Burnell is the main event. Just off the first glance, like I used to love Mads Burnell. I thought he had such a cool style. He's looked like he's really mailed it in. And the other issue too is like Extreme Couture. I'm just super low on as a camp. The coaching is almost non-existent there. It's kind of a lot of guys training themselves. Essentially what you have there is a lot of like really talented bodies in one room with no structure. Collard, man, I love Collard's game. High volume, body work, good defensive grappling, unlimited cardio. Like to me, at elevation in Utah, like that's a clear Clay Collard win. Pardon me. Impa Kasangane and Jacob Neto. Like I've never been a Neto fan. I love Impa. Impa has looked like world class, like insanely good. You know, as long as he doesn't get his head knocked off in the first 2 minutes, I think he settles in and wins this fight pretty easily. And you know, it's not a hot take. Patricky Pitbull and Bruno Miranda. I think Bruno Miranda is going to win. I think Patricky obviously is kind of the shit one. Bruno really is a good striker, man, and that's all he does. Unless we see Patricky come out and bring the wrestling shoes, and he very well could, man. I think the Pitbull brothers grappling is a lot better than people give it credit for. But also PFL has tried forever and ever and ever to push Bruno Miranda. I like Bruno to get it done there. Let's see. Let's talk PFL fights. Enough of what you want already? Dude, I'm just answering the questions of people, Lenny. Fucking block you too, man. Suck it. Um, Definitely a hidden meaning. Yeah, I know there was a hidden meaning there. That's why I was trying to ignore it. We're on hiatus. Me and Dwayne The Rock Johnson, we don't fuck with each other anymore. Um, let's see. We have Rob Wilkinson and Josh Silvera. I used to fight on a lot of the cards with Josh. I like him. He's kind of close to home, ASU kid. But man, Rob has looked so juicy and so damn good. This actually could be a weird one though. Like if you really think about it, like Rob is going to gas at some point. If he's not fighting the corpse of Tom Breeze, which was, man, that was a pathetic performance. I've always been really iffy of playing Rob Wilkinson because someday he's going to gas bad and he's going to look horrible. And the thing about Josh is Josh can wrestle. I know he's looked horrible, but what if Josh is just, Josh has a good chin. What if he takes every best shot that Rob has and then round 2, round 3 just starts wrestling him, top timing him and submitting him? I get that Wilkinson's a black belt, but so is Josh, and Josh is a good black belt. I don't know. I think that Wilkinson wins just based off what I've seen, but it wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't be the most all-time shocker just stylistically if Josh won that matchup. Ooh, this is a great fight. Gadzhiyasulov, Yags, my guy, versus Simon Byung. Byung's fine. I think he's a big body. He's good. I love me some Dags, man. That guy's got some fucking skills. And when you go out there, you have to try to kill him. That's how you're going to win. You have to try to kill him. And if you don't tag that chin, I mean, he's so fast and so dynamic. He can wrestle. He boxes like like he's good, man. He really is good. So I would go with the Yags. I don't know what the line is, but I'm sure it's juice to all hell. Kind of like flatter with no juice last fight. Yeah, Sean, maybe he is flatter with no juice, but I don't know. Let's see. Clay originated from Price, Utah. Crowd's gonna be going crazy for him. Nick, I need to get back to Utah. I'm like kind of at my I'm kind of on my healing journey, man. Maybe I need to go do some drugs in the Utah mountains, go back to Zion soon. Let's see. Antonio Carlos Jr. versus Alex Polizzi. That's a weird fight. That's a really weird fight. I don't know, dude. Polizzi's horrible, but kind of finds a way to like win a lot of those things. Like if Junior's not just top, Antonio Carlos not just top timing him, like then what? I don't know. He's better everywhere, but like, God, that's Polizzi's just a hard one to bet against, man. He really is just such a hard one to bet against. Like he beat Grant Neal, who's a pretty damn good wrestler, fucking aggro and in your face just by scrambling, turning up into a little ball. And I don't think like Antonio Carlos has like insane one punch power. Does he? Maybe I'm an idiot. Rear naked choke, Darce choke, rear naked choke, groin strike, guillotine. It's all submissions. I don't know. Can he submit Alex Polizzi? Polizzi's kind of hard to submit. The dude just like rolls around as a fucking meatball. What is the line? Do we have a crazy line on Polizzi? Should we all bet this as a community right now? If it's like plus 300 or something, I don't think we have a choice. Let me see. PFL week 13. What's the line? Oh my God. Gadzhiyasulov is minus 355. Okay. Polizzi's plus 275. I mean, is getting close to that number. I mean, ouch. Yeah. Wait, Jacob, you're saying that Antonio Carlos has 0 KOs. That's kind of funny, man. 275. That might be a play. I fucking hate Polizzi, man. He's horrible, but I mean, really, like he just doesn't die. That's the thing. Okay. Let's take a look. Oh shit. Sorry, this is my first look. A lot of these matchups to me are shocking. I haven't seen them yet. Brent Primus and Solomon Renfro. Is Renfro a massive dog in this fight too? Let's see. Plus 150. Not enough. But like easily, Renfro could defend 1 takedown, 2 takedowns, kind of like he did with Gadzi, and he could knock his brick off. Like Primus is always liable to get murdered. So I would be careful with betting juice on Primus against Renfro. I had that Gadzi bet. Big Bird Pierce twisted my arm and forced me to. He held me down and against my will forced me to bet Gadzi, and I was shitting myself. I had my net worth on Gadzi in that first fight, and that was not good. Sadi Boussi versus Tom Breeze. Like, how much more of a homer first fight could they give Sadi after that last one? Interesting. Like, how could you trust Tom Breeze? Gadzi Rabadanov versus Elvin Espinoza. If that's not an insane line, like, I just need to go pull all my money out of my bank account, I think. Minus 235 is not crazy. Elvin fucking sucks. Is he going to out wrestle Gadzi? Gadzi's fucking good. Gadzi can do everything. He's a way better striker. He's a way better wrestler, way better gas tank. Like, what the fuck we doing? Minus 235 is not bad at all. Why is Sadibu only minus 189? Like, Tom Breeze is just willing to quit at any time. Dude, like, what is up with this? I see Sean Orr's in chat. Sean, can you tell me, like, what's up with these lines? Why is Sadibu, like, minus 189? That's crazy. Like, Tom Breeze just quits at the second there's any adversity at all. Like, I don't really understand that. And every inkling of everything says that he's the greatest striker of all time in the room. Like, why is he only minus 190? Is he fucking missing his dick? What's going on? Gadzi and collared parlay is a lock. I know. That's Salt Lake City cardio is factored in. Yeah, I get Sadi's a 170, but he's got a good frame. Like, he's got a good frame, and he might be a decision merchant, but like, it's Tom Breeze. Tom Breeze got hit one time last time. It looked like a bare knuckle fight. He just turned his face and was like, I'm good. I'm good off that. The fact that the dude wants to show his face again or even fight again is really crazy to me. Okay, well, that's interesting. I'm going to end up spending a lot of money tonight and going shopping. Let's see. Yeah, Gadzi at minus 235, Sadibu at minus 189. Pretty insane. Michael Dufort and Adam Piccolotti. That's a really good fight. Tell me Dufort didn't look incredible last time. And I'm a huge Piccolotti fan. I think Piccolotti's jiu-jitsu is amongst the best in MMA. His top control, his hip control, his jiu-jitsu legitimately is excellent. And he looked even better against Elvin in the last fight. I know he got finished, but man, how unfortunate was that? I actually don't know this Sergio Casio guy. Maybe I'll see when I pull up his record. Let's see. Sergio Casio. He fought Jesse Roberts. Oh, okay. It's coming back to me. I remember this guy being pretty dog shit. And if he's losing to Jesse Roberts, why is that fight close? Why is that fight close at all? Oh, it's not. He's minus 335. But I mean, you could just do like Anthony Romero and Gadzi. What's that get you? Minus 117. What's the limit? 2,000 is the limit. I'm just going to put it. Should I just put it? Gadzi and Romero. Okay, I just played it. Gadzi and Romero. That seems fine to me. Let's see. This is not a process, man. This is no tape study, just like fucking throwing shit in there. Yeah. Okay. This is actually interesting. Like, just watching me like look at this card and my first reactions. Oh my goodness. Okay. Sorry guys. This is just like me rambling now. I like the questions, but now I'm like actually like trying to think and be in my zone here. Let's finish this card and then do any other questions, and then I'm gonna bounce and go to bed. It's already 10:25 here. It's pretty late for me. Andrew Sanchez versus Carl Albrechtsen. That's a good fight. first inclination would say Albrechtsen. Andrew Sanchez just looks so fucking slow in his last few fights. And obviously he tires out, but just like speed wise, looks so slow. And then his last fight, he fought Taylor Johnson, and he won the split. Taylor, I think, is a lot smaller. Yeah, he's usually an 85er, moved up to 205 and fought him to a split. And his striking's not very good. He's just kind of a weird aggro wrestler. I think Albrechtsen's probably just a better MMA fighter overall. Much younger, much more handsome. What's the line on that? Tell me, Bet Online. What's the line on that? Albrechtsen's minus 215. Okay. Well, none of these lines are what I was hoping they would be. I was hoping some of these would be like even money and it'd be like, okay, that's a super sharp process live, but not quite work out that way. What's the last fight? Brian Zurcher. Dude, Zurcher's just been like the ultimate money laundering hack in PFL. The dude can just never lose. They just find him can after can. See, this is what I'm saying. Give me a manager like Zurcher has. Let me have the Zurcher career path. Let me just fight a bunch of these shit cans on PFL and get paid 10 and 10 and then get my shot on Contender Series and let me go to the UFC. Like, that's it. Who's this guy? Julian Ruiz. He beat a 3-4 guy, a 2-3 guy, 1-2 guy, 0-0 guy. All right, well then that's all we need to say. Like, he's probably not good, and Zurcher's gonna whoop that ass. And I never thought Zurcher was that good. I thought Scotty Stockman was gonna beat him, and that almost bankrupted me. Oh man, you guys really want to be in here with me? We're losing viewers just by the second. Of 117 now, we're up to 132. Because they're just hearing me ramble about the PFL. But I really legitimately like this card. If I spend some time and I sit down with this PFL card, I really like it. Ruiz is a local kid. Okay. Well, Utah's not great outside of hey, Nick, what's that kid's name? Prestridge. Not really great outside of Prestridge. Only the dedicated remain. All right. Well, let's take a look at some Bellator. And then I need to sleep. I've been on this war on sleep, guys. I put in my earplugs, not AirPods, but earplugs, mouth tape, nose strip, and a face cover. That's what I do every night for bed now. Yeah, that's what I do every night for bed. And still I wake up at 5:30 every single day. I don't know what it is. My brain is all fucked up. The second that light creeps through the window, I am like, what's up? What do we need to do? What's going on? And then I end up just sitting there and just doing nothing, just bullshitting. All right, let's take a look at some Bellator. Damn. Let's take a look at some Bellator. I had more fun just chatting at the beginning of the show. Not about fights. Someday I want a podcast just about bullshit. About nothing real. Just complaining about life, love, stress, and setbacks. All right. Bellator Championship Series. So just full confession, I don't really know this Ramazan Magomedov guy very well. I'd have to re-up on my tape on him. He beat Jaleel Willis and Randall Wallace. Okay, I need to re-up on him. I'm not sure about him, but Jason Jackson's so fucking good, man. That guy is so fucking good. Paul Hughes and Bobby King. I mean, Bobby King's like 45 years old at this point. Obviously, they're not bringing Paul Hughes in on a massive contract to lose. Now, really the only question in this, and this is sometimes where you get stuck, is does he win by decision or knockout or by finish? Bobby King's pretty tough, man. Has Bobby King been finished? No. Oh, I loved when he beat Aviv Ghazali. I tried to tell everybody, I was like, man, these Israelis suck ass. And now all I train with at the gym is Israelis. Funny. But Aziz was garbage. Yeah, Paul who's gonna win. So that's just the big question, is inside the distance. I mean, fuck it. Put him on the parlay leg with with Clay Collard and Gadzi and Sadibu and Magomed from the UFC and Rinat and Nasrat. We just keep building this parlay as we go. Multi-promotion, just a fucking juicer parlay. Sinead Kavanagh and Arlene Blenko. Kavanaugh's kind of dog shit. I like Blenko a fair bit. I guess, I don't know, for whatever reason, and this really shouldn't make a difference, but this being in Dublin kind of kind of threw me off. I will say we have seen some crazy shit when things go to Dublin. Like if you guys watch Cage Warriors and you watched, oh my God, it's so late. I'm so tired. The fucking tall kids. What are the tall kids' name? They're brothers, the Shelley brothers. When he fought that kid that took him down all 3 rounds and was on top and punching him, and they still gave it to the Shelley brother. That was in Ireland. That was insane shit. That was like I've never seen a worse decision than that in my entire life. So it always gets you going. Like, man, there's the Irish mob sitting outside, and they'll shoot up the place if Arlene Blenko gets the nod over the national treasure that is Sinead Kavanagh, fucking old Irish lesbian. That's who I'm bound to marry someday, an old Irish lesbian. Okay, then we got Noveni Jr. versus Dalton Rasta. I thought that Camille Onisesek was going to have a chance against Noveni, but Noveni's good, man. Noveni really is good. I think that Dalton is more fundamental for sure, but I think he might have trouble with the movement of Noveni. And Noveni's takedown defense is pretty good too. Like that guy is legitimately very, very good for like kind of how he looks. I already got involved with Noveni, but I got the worst possible number, like the worst possible number. I don't know if I'm going to get out or just like kind of keep taking a look. It's not a huge investment. I tried to beat the line and I read that one wrong. So I mostly just want to watch that fight just for future because you got 2 really good prospects. I think Dalton is good too. You know, Dalton is decent. 2 good prospects we need to see for the future. Dara Kelly and Matthias Poran. I don't know this guy, but he looks a little bit, he looks on the spectrum. Not that Dara isn't on the spectrum, but Jesus Christ. Dara Kelly's picture on the thing, he's dude shredded up. I need to get on whatever gas that he's on. He clearly looks like he knows how to make weight. Kasum Kasimanov versus Mateus Matos. I used to train with Mateus a little bit when he was here at Fight Ready. Dude is good, strong, aggressive striker. He's actually got better takedown defense and get-ups than most Brazilians. Doesn't fight so dumb. I'm not super familiar with this Kasimanov guy. He went to a split with Josh Hill. Josh Hill's a good ultra vet though, man. Like I don't know. That's a tough one. That's not an indictment on his record to go to a split with Josh Hill. I get Josh Hill's old, but Josh Hill's good, man. He does all the right things. He's very strong. Now this one is funny because we have Kasan Magomed Sharipov. He's fighting Tyler Matheson. Let's see. So he beat Jose Sanchez, dog shit. Rafael Hudson, dog shit. Piotr Nidoleski. Okay, Piotr's good, but kind of a bad grappler. I played Tyler Matheson just because I don't think that Kasan is like out of this world amazing. They hype him up like, dude, he's the second coming of Christ. And so I played Tyler Matheson at just an insane number. And I'm not reading the comments like right this second. I already know you guys can be like, you fucking idiot. You're so stupid. Guy's 6-3 fighting an undefeated Russian. But dude, the number was plus 750. Like it was plus 750. I just hit a freaking one on Fury. It was like plus 500 over another guy they thought was the second coming, Michael White, right? I bet against him against this like freaking jumping bean and he won, you know? So crazier shit happens. It wasn't a big limit or anything. I played Tyler Matheson at plus 750. That boy is aggressive and he can wrestle and he can counter wrestle. Who did he just fight? I know he lost to Pena Alamov. But right before that, he fought a really fucking good wrestler in Griffin Perriott. I know Griffin. I think he went to Purdue, something like that. But he was a really, really good wrestler. And even in MMA, Matheson out-dogged him, out-wrestled him. Simeon Powell versus Abdullah Urami. This is interesting. This is like a crazy Middle Eastern name with a Spain flag and a black guy. This is just a mix of way too many things. Simeon Powell's fucking good, man. It would be hard to see unless this random Spanish guy has just been the truth, man. It's hard to see Simeon Powell losing. Sarvarjan Kamidov versus Marceli Alves. I know I've seen this guy fight. Let's see. He fought Kevin Petshi. Oh, he liver kicked No Chance. Yeah, this dude's good. I know he's good. Versus Marceli Alves. Let's see. Who did Marceli fight? Oh, he knocked the fuck out of Jarrell Hodge. Oh, man. That's sad. I don't know if I want to watch this fight. Just like, dude, he knocked out Jarrell Hodge. That was really sad for me. I did not want to see that. Let's pull up some odds for some of these. Take off Rel. That's such a cool nickname. Let's see. Ooh, look how much I moved that line, you guys. Tyler Matheson from plus 750 to plus 700. I'm a line mover. Shiniba Oda is minus 800. Sarvajan Kamidov is minus 350 to plus 275. That might be one to take a look at. Like, because that dude, if I remember right, that dude's striking is pretty nasty. I think Jarrell Hodge is fucking really good. Okay, let me start reading some of these comments, guys. Let's see. Magomedov is live. I don't know what you mean he's live. Like, oh, that's in the main event. Magomedov is live. Okay. Let's see. Julian Release is nothing special. Okay. Has Matos been at Fight Ready recently? He got another dag this time. No, Matos hasn't been here in a long time, man. Back in the day, Henry, like when Henry was actually active and fighting and stuff, he imported a ton of Brazilians. So the way that it used to go is Henry actually used to practice with the fight team all the time, like the regular fight team. We had all these guys and good guys that would test him. And then I don't remember what fight it was, but somewhere along the line, he just started doing super camps. And he said, "You guys are peons. Yes, you beat me up sometimes, but I'm too good for the rest of you guys." So he started flying in all the Brazilians. So for one camp, it wasn't even very long. I think a few months, he flew in Matos. He had Pantoja come, Rafael Montini, Bruno Silva. Who else? Just so many different guys over the years. But Matos came. Leandro Higo. I loved Leandro. Got to roll with him a bunch. But no, Matos hasn't been to Fight Ready in years. He's a striking Dagestani. Interesting. Sanchez, 24-year-old. Sanchez plateaued with the Roundtree win at 24 years old somehow. Okay. Magomedov went to split with Jordan Williams. Is that the guy? Oh my God. Wait. Jaleel Willis, Trevor Allison, Jordan Williams. That's right. This is the one I've been trying to fade. This is really the guy fighting Jason Jackson. What a grave mistake. Oh my God. I remember him because I bet against him on Eagle FC. Who did he fight? I was like, dude, he went to freaking split with yeah. Okay. Maybe I tried to bet John Howard against him, which was not a great idea, but yeah, man, he went to split with Jordan Williams. That was something. He's fought a lot of black guys. He has fought a lot of black guys, and he's won every time. I too am undefeated against black men. Let's see. Lesbian truck driver. No needle movers. Rasta is the side. Noveni sub game grid. Let's see. Kasamanov is good. That fight should not have been a split. Okay, I'll check that out. Good number doesn't mean a good bet, brother. Yeah, sometimes it does mean a good bet. Dalton fraud checked in the last fight, or is just an off night? Dre, I think that the styles just make so much difference in fights. So much of a difference in fights. I can't remember who called it, but Aaron Jeffrey. That dude is really good against guys that are going to shoot on him and blow their wad all over him, because he just outlasts him and then volumes him in the end. And who did he just lose to? Because that was kind of working and then it just stopped because the other guy just didn't run out of gas. So, I mean, styles just make a lot of fights. I don't think Dalton is a bad fighter. As a matter of fact, like, I think none of us can believe his gas tank. It's pretty crazy for how jacked he is and how he fights. Everything is so aggressive and so like just crazy. And he's got a good gas tank. So I'm legitimately interested in that fight. It's a very, very good fight. Very, very good fight. Salter? No, Moyes, that was not the fight. That wasn't the one. Who did Aaron Jeffrey? Wasn't it Fabian Edwards that he just fought? Yeah, it was Fabian, and he had a great first round against Fabian, and then he fell off the cliff, and Fabian ended up winning. All right, what else we got? Oh, there's still so many more fights. Michelle Montague versus Carolina Sobek. I think that line's actually close, is it not? And they're really pushing Montague. They really want her to be the next star, and she is getting better. Nate Kelly is fighting Paul Nolan. That's probably another easy fight. Olena Kolesnik, who's a bit of a tard. She's fighting Sarah Collins. If I remember right, Sarah Collins looked good last time. She just beat Sinead Kavanaugh. Now she's kind of fighting down to go against Olena Kolesnik and beat Pam Sorensen. Like, I think this girl might be legit. So we'll have a look-see into some of that stuff. That's about as much as my knowledge goes. This Bellator card is actually a lot more tricky than like the PFL card. I know a decent amount of these guys. Sarah Collins is so strong. Well, she'll probably need to be so strong. Like that girl's like, the girl's all over the place. Let me tell you something about Ukrainians, you guys. Russia has a point, you know? Okay. All right, guys, what else we got? It's been 2 hours and 10 minutes. This is a long-ass podcast. The chat's starting to die. I'm starting to die. We're all dying as we go longer. Was I there for the Pantoja versus O'Malley fight? No, that was at the lab. So I was there. I've told this story many times. I sparred with Pantoja. I sparred with him a lot. I rolled with him a lot. I trained with him a lot. Pantoja's fucking good, man. He really is good. But that day, they went over to the lab to do sparring. Because again, we're super close together in proximity to each other. I just went to Red Hawk BJJ where Tim Welch and Sean O'Malley trained the other day, and I took Casey O'Neill too to get some extra grappling in. And Sean, that was actually my first time meeting Shug. He came and introduced himself. Super, super nice. Like, he's a nice kid. I shouldn't even say he's a kid. He's older than me. Nice guy, and introduced himself. It's cool gym and everything like that. Is that girl still messaging me? Yeah, let me see what she said. She said, "How you holding up?" I'm going to tell her I'm feeling the weight of 200 people cracking down on me. No, I shouldn't. Am I near Queen Creek, Arizona? There's a great perfumer there. What the fuck's a perfumer? I'm like 45 minutes to an hour away from Queen Creek. I almost bought a house in Queen Creek, but I'm cooler than that. No, Daniel. Not like that, man. She's here for camp. I was helping her go to a next training session. Does my mic sound that bad? I didn't think it was that bad. Moise, don't you live in like fucking Germany or something? How are you getting stuff from Queen Creek, Arizona? That's so weird. Find your own perfumes. All right. Well, day 3 perfumes. Check this out. This is something that I learned from doing Clint's podcast. You're in Norway. Is it going to work? No, it's not going to do it. All right, guys. Well, thank you guys for tuning in with me. It's been fun. I like chatting with you guys. Maybe I should do these more often. One of these days when I get a little more organized, I will I'll do like Clint does, like the weigh-in show live chat or some shit like that. It's kind of fun to do it on the YouTube though. You know, this is out there in the world. It's not just like an Instagram stream where 30 people jump on and get off. Like, a lot of you guys are sitting down with this. Some of you guys are in bed with your wives listening to me, and I hope she hears my sweet voice, the sound of my sweet voice. Yeah. So thank you guys for joining. I love you guys all. See you soon.